diagnosis and different things and, going on. But I can also share with you the positive sides, positive things happening, the good news, different things happening in our life. And that just tells us that just life continues to move on and what we make do with the mess we have is what turns it into a beautiful message. A beautiful message that we can share globally, we can share locally, we can share with family, we can share with friends, we can share with everybody. And, that just makes it very fantastic. So I'm going straight on to Toya's bio. Toya, thank you so much. Nice to see you. Okay. Toya will be speaking on empowerment for education, creating pathways for your child to learn and thrive. Toyin Falogi Ekeze is a wife, mother, and entrepreneur based in Lagos, Nigeria. Inspired by her daughter Simone's battle with heart complications and late Down syndrome diagnosis, she became a passionate special needs advocate. Toyin channeled her background in TV and film production to address the lack of representation for Black and African special children with special needs. She created a groundbreaking picture book series, Ugo and Sim Sim, and Nigeria's first baby board book, Ugo and Sim Sim, Fruits and Vegetables. Toyin founded the Simone Oasis Foundation to transform societal perceptions of special needs and neurodiversity through storytelling and artistic expression. She's a founding member of the Association of Children's Authors and Illustrators of Nigeria and a committee member of the Creative Industries Development Bill. Tony is also a sought-after speaker and co-hosts two podcasts focused on special needs parenting and African children's stories. Currently, she's developing new children's books with Quida Publishing and has been recognized by the American Express Leadership Academy, as well as the Guardian UK for her contributions to the nonprofit sector. Ladies and gentlemen, is that the end? Oh, sorry. Find Simone. Oh, you can find Simone's Oasis social media handle at Simone's Oasis on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, wonderful people joining from different parts of the world, I welcome Toyin Ekeze, Palogi Ekeze to go on
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead with the speaking. All right. Thank you with the
Oh,
speech.
thank
I mean,
you.
thank you.
Thank you so much for the intro. Am I sharing my screen or are you guys sharing
Yeah,
the
you can share
slide?
your screen. You can share your screen.
Okay.
And how many
So
minutes has she got, please?
I think we have 15 and then 5 for Q&A, I think.
That's
I
good.
think.
All right, thank you.
Uh, Please, you have to. Okay. Yes, thank goodness I'm not having to share the screen. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. All right. So, I didn't even realize I was going to be first, so this is kind of cool because I can do this and I can chill small with everybody here. So welcome everybody. And of course, thank you to Tola and More Rainbow Peeps for I think it's really important to create this space. I'm here not just as this advocate, I'm also a mom and I'm here to learn and share. My daughter Simone, many of you might know her story, you might not, but she's the reason why I do what I do, why Simone's Oasis Foundation exists, why Tola and the team at Mo Rainbow, we are permanently collaborating. So today, the topic is empowerment for education. And I'm going to be very honest, like I usually am. Empowering a child with Down syndrome to learn, it's not about complicated strategies. So I want everybody to just take a breath and let that go. It's really about your mindset, about consistency, and building a community around you for support that actually works. So let's go to the next slide. Right. So why is it important we're looking at this issue? It's important we're looking at this issue because 27 million Nigerians live with disabilities. And most, as many of you will know from your own experiences, are invisible in education, in work, and in culture. 95% of children with disabilities in Nigeria are out of school. And globally, you can see there the statistic that for neurodivergent adults, globally, the unemployment rate is very high. And I don't think, what can we do in our everyday to kind of make progress and change this very depressing statistics? Next slide, please. Because time is such a factor in the success of our loved ones with Down syndrome, we have to focus at home. If we wait for the system to empower our children, we'll be waiting forever. That means empowerment starts with what our children experience every single day at home. Do they feel loved and understood? Do they feel capable? Do they have choices? Are we setting expectations aligned with their potential and not what our assumptions are of what they should be doing or what other people's assumptions are? So for me, Simone's confidence, it didn't come from sending her to school. It came from our home. It came from repetition, communication support, routines, and being treated, like a child who deserves to learn at her pace, who deserves to be loved, who deserves to be included. Next slide, please. And so we're talking about all this empowerment for education. What does that actually mean? Because people hear the word empowerment and think motivation. And yes, that's an aspect of it. But for our children, it's structure. It means giving them tools to express themselves, creating predictable routines so learning doesn't feel overwhelming, right? We're teaching independence in small steps, in bite-sized chunks, because that learning of independence, it fuels, because gaining independence, it fuels further learning. And importantly, showing them every day that their voice matters. They have agency. It's really, really important. Next slide, please. Excuse me. And we're at home. And home is the first classroom. You don't need fancy gadgets. You don't need fancy materials. You don't need a whole bunch of money. You need consistency. Daily living skills become learning. Dressing, tidying up, making simple choices. Use visuals. Children with Down syndrome, they process information better when they see it. Even me, Seth, I process information better with visuals. Visuals are a really effective way for them to learn. Keep language simple. Name actions. Describe routines. Narrate tasks. Right? So let me give you an example. When Simone was much younger and we were doing the visual schedule, we had like this board and we had the visual schedule. On the earlier slide, you saw a visual schedule. However, we didn't leave it there. When we were going through the routine, I found that because she really loved music, I would sing bits. So I'll be like, Simone, put on your vest. Simone, put on your vest. Great job, you put on your vest. And silly things. It sounds crazy, but it really, really worked. We'd sing everything. And that helped her to learn, and not only learn, but reinforce her schedule. And then we celebrate the small wins. This experience really helps you to live in a space of gratitude, and you really learn to appreciate the tiniest things can feel like so massive. So celebrate the small wins for your child and for you, because they encourage you, they give you hope, they give you kind of that extra boost to keep going, and it helps us to build stamina. And blend learning with real life context. When things are done in like a real life context, it sticks. So next slide, please. And here's the truth. Many schools, when we're partnering with schools, I say partner with schools, we don't just send our children to school. We must partner, we must engage, we must work together. And it's very, very unfortunate, but many schools still hold very low expectations of our children. And so as parents, it's our responsibility to set the tone for our child. And when you're going into schools, you're looking at a school for your child, make sure you're very clear about what you want for your child and what you expect from the school. So when you go in, you can say stuff, you know, here's what my child responds well to. Here's what overwhelms them. Here's the level of support they need. So you have clear guidance, clear descriptions of your child for the school, and ask for 2 or 3 practical accommodations or adjustments, things like, you know, visual schedules, step-by-step task breakdown, processing time, fewer transitions. These are simple and cost nothing, and the teachers who genuinely care will implement them. Simone moved through different school environments, and each time it taught me the same lesson. The school is not the expert on your child. You are the expert on your child. And so your job is to advocate, document progress, and push for environments that include your child meaningfully, not just for them to be in the same space, but they are engaged and integrated and included and participating. It's not just for show. Next slide. So education happens at home, it happens at the school, but it happens within a community as well. And that community is also an educational tool. A child just doesn't learn only in a classroom. There's family gatherings, church groups, play dates, art clubs, whatever other activities you do with your child. These teach social cues and interactions, confidence, resilience. They teach communication. Simone thrives in creative environments, especially arts, music, movement. She's a bit of a party animal these days. But that's really because we noticed that. That's why we built Simone's Oasis around storytelling and multisensory engagement. Creativity for her isn't extra. It's essential to her learning. And children with Down syndrome absorb information through experience. The more exposure they get, the stronger their learning pathways become. Next slide, please. So children with Down syndrome don't learn best through long lectures or passive listening. Like many of us too, they learn through engagements, things they can see, hear, touch, repeat, and experience. That's multi-sensory learning, and it works at every stage of development. At home and in school, this can be as simple as pairing words with visuals, using music or rhythm for routines, giving hands-on tasks instead of verbal instructions alone, and breaking learning into small, repeatable steps. So it's not anything fancy, it's very practical, and you can match, you know, how you do this with your child's way of processing information. But here's the bigger point. Education cannot stop at early intervention or primary school. That's where many families hit a wall. The question becomes, what happens next? Where do our children go as teenagers? What does learning look like when they're older? Next slide, please. Now, this is why at Simone's Oasis, we're building the Neurodiverse Creators Lab, which launches in Q1 in 2026. It's our answer to that gap, a structured pathway where neurodiverse adolescents can learn real practical creative skills like animation basics, digital tools, storytelling, design thinking in a way that matches how they learn. Now, it's a pilot series that we're testing out, but the goal is simple: education that leads to independence, confidence, and eventually career possibilities. Because, empowerment isn't only about helping a child read or write, it's about we need to prepare them for a life where they can contribute, create, and thrive as adults independently, reaching their full potential. So these pathways must begin early, but it must also continue meaningfully as they grow. Next slide, please. So with all this said, for it to be a success, it's so important that they feel emotionally safe. Otherwise, if they don't, learning shuts down. And it's that simple. Most of the behaviors people complain about, refusal, shutdown, seeming stubbornness, are usually signs of being overwhelmed, frustration, not understanding what's being asked. When a child with Down syndrome feels constantly corrected, rushed, or misunderstood, their confidence drops, right? And things become a bit of a battle. So what does emotional safety mean? It means clear communication so they know what to expect, predictable routines so their world feels manageable, adults who stay regulated, that's us, right? Because our tone sets the atmosphere. We need to give them space to express their emotions without punishment or shame. And we need to respect their boundaries, right? Whether it's physical, sensory, and emotional. Because a child who trusts the adults around them, they will try new things, they will try new tasks, and they will recover faster from mistakes. So that's what builds like real learning stamina. Emotional security, it isn't a soft concept, it's really a practical requirement for progress. Next slide. So let's be honest. The real challenges are late night diagnosis, right? These are things we need to kind of address and remove. So challenges like late diagnosis, inaccessible schools, wrong assumptions about ability, financial strain, burnout, stigma. And these are not small issues. But here is what works. Document your child's progress. It gives you power. Share knowledge with your community. Do not do this alone. You cannot do this alone. Follow and enter communities and organizations like Mo Rainbow for knowledge, for support, for resources. And choose battles wisely. We cannot come and die here. It's not everything that you have to tackle at once. Figure out what are the low-hanging fruit and start there. And focus on building daily skills for your child that matter long-term. The goal is not for your child to catch up. The goal is for them to thrive. So lastly, last slide, let me tell you that Simone taught me that thriving looks different for every child. Once you stop comparing, you number one, you liberate yourself, but you unlock progress. Empowering your child's education is not about perfection. It's about creating consistent pathways at home, in school, and in the community that respect who your child is and how they learn. With the right environment, support, and mindset, our children can and they do thrive. And my daughter Simone and Moi, they are living proof and living testimony. And so are your children. So I just want to leave you that glimmer of hope that there is, like my slide says, a bright future ahead. And that's it. Thank you very much. And are we taking questions now? Do we have questions?
Thank you so much, Toy. That was very, very beautiful to listen to you and hear some of the things, that I've heard before, but I'm hearing them for the first time, and I would never stop believing in just starting from the family. I believe so much in family literacy and embracing this, everything that you need to embrace starts from the family. So I believe so much in the power of family engagement, and sometimes I look at this and I see that each family would kind of like have some similar stories around the birth of their child with Down syndrome and, around the developmental stages and around when they walked, when they first talked. So I keep telling parents, you are the first advocate. I think it was one of the things you mentioned that we are
Yep.
actually the first teachers. We are the first teachers. Environment matters a lot, and I think the environment is the third teacher, but in the family, looking at the parents, like us, you know, some children can't even get their parents to support them from when they are babies because their parents, because of one thing or the other, like some challenges they might be facing. But when it comes to delivering that support, that care, it starts from the family. And Toya said we cannot come and die. We have to take it a step at a time. So there are some stepwise decisions too. We have to like look at like, okay, what's most important for my child at this point in time? Like right now, what are we looking for? Those are the low-hanging fruits. I
Mhm.
figured that, you were talking about what are we looking at right now that we want to achieve, or what is in the best and this thing has to be in the interest of the child. Like so everything we try to like every plan, every journey we try to navigate for our children is all about our children. It's not, yeah, though we are the ones navigating the journeys with them, but see, let it just be in the interest of the child. Every decision you're making in the interest of the child. It's not about you. It's not about selfish motives, or whatever. So thank you so much, Toye. You can put your questions in the chat room. We'll come back to your questions. So our next speaker for today, oh, are we doing a Q&A now? I'm talking to the team. Okay. Peace. Are we doing the Q&A now?
I think we should move to the next speaker
Okay.
while people gather their questions.
Okay,
Yes.
so the next speaker is this, my wonderful darling. I think I've known Uche for over a decade now. Am I wrong? Yeah, thereabouts. And when I met her, I saw passion, I saw the fire in her, and then she is who she is. She is who she says she is. And I want to just use this opportunity to celebrate Uche. Thank you for everything you've been doing, for working along with me, being in my team. I don't take it for granted. And I'm going to read bio. So she's the next speaker, and she's talking about support systems in the classroom. So when I finish reading, everybody just clap or share your emojis. You know what I'm talking about? And this are smiling. It is very captivating. I've seen your face now, Uche. Okay. Uche Chukuma is a seasoned special education needs educator with a wealth of knowledge and more than 10 years of professional experience. She holds a degree in marketing from Lagos State University and is certified as an emergency medical technician and a diploma in basic life support. Uche has dedicated her career to supporting individuals with special needs. Next, please. Our core values of faith, teamwork, honor, dedication to work, and consistency are evident in our approach to education and life. She firmly believes in the principle that a little drop of water makes a mighty ocean, showing our commitment to incremental progress and to the power of collective efforts. In addition to her role as an educator, Uche, Mrs. Chukuma excels as a public speaker and counselor, using skills to inspire and guide others. Our dedication, can I please flip back? I'm not sure with Uche's, okay, sorry. This is tinier for me. I cannot see it. Oh, sorry. Our dedication to both our career and personal life is reflected in our happy marriage and our role as a mother to three adorable children. Overall, Mrs. Uche Chukwuma's biography highlights her extensive experience, values, and passions, offering a well-rounded glimpse into her professional and personal life. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mrs. Uche Chukwuma. She is the head of school at Mo Rainbow Down Syndrome Foundation. She is going to be talking about support systems in the classroom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. First of all, I want to thank our previous speaker, Mrs. Toye, and I also want to thank Mrs. Tola Makinde for this privilege. I do not take it for granted. So like my topic says, support system in the classroom. I assume that we are all in the classroom. So first of all, I want us to feel comfortable, relaxed. Let's understand that being a teacher or being a special educator must involve you being very playful, childlike, and then welcoming them and having them get excited. So first of all, I would like to ask the question, have we ever experienced when a child comes into your house or maybe into any setting, the first thing that they would like to do is to first of all explore. They would like to observe the environment and see what they can really do inside that environment. So like I said, the support system is a group of people. Of course, group of people, we can't really do without people when it comes to children. Group of people, it could also be group of tools, what we actually use to pass this information to these children. And I noticed from my own experience over the years working with children, especially children living with Down syndrome, that they are very, very emotional. They share a lot of hugs. So if you know that you're not very touchy, if you don't like them coming close to you, if you don't like them hugging you, you might be in a very wrong setting. So like the first slide. Okay, so can you please share? Okay, so a support system is a group of people, tools, or strategy that helps students learn, feel safe, and succeed. So first of all, every child needs to feel safe, needs to feel comfortable, needs to be relaxed about where they are. I noticed that sometimes when we have new learners or when we have new children come into the system, they first of all try to observe our environment. Sometimes they even tend to, they tend to give you a different assessment base. So when you look at them and when you assess them, you're seeing them for the first time. The first impression you get from them might be that, okay, this child can really do a lot of things. But when the child begins to relax, when the child begins to settle in, you notice that they begin to exploit, they begin to do a lot of things. And then that's why I always say that assessment continues. It's not something that you say, okay, because the child is just coming into the system, then overall you can say, okay, this child cannot do this or cannot do that. You must first give them an avenue to feel relaxed, and then they will be able to succeed in such an environment. So I said in school, it includes teachers. Yes, of course, teachers. I like what my boss said, that parents are the first advocates of our children. Very, very important. So I operate in a very collaborative system, which means that every child must be involved with the parents. The parents must be involved. The parents must know what is going on. It must be a transparent affair. Sometimes people like to, most times because of the kind of system we have, we try to, hoard a lot of information. We don't want to get the parents too much involved, but that's not what will actually help the child to grow. The parents must be involved. In fact, not just the parents, even the siblings, even grandparents, even people around them, the environment, wherever they are coming from, their home, they need to be involved. You need to pass information, relevant information to the parents. So if that's why communication and feedback is very important. You can't do without that. We must encourage a system where we must give feedback to parents, and parents must also be able to communicate rightly the stages and process of their children. So the next slide is, okay, so I said a support system for special learners means giving extra help. Yes, giving extra help. I want to focus on giving extra help. So because we have special learners, especially children living with Down syndrome, some of them come in with a lot of challenges. Sometimes, if we don't get enough information of what is happening in the child's life, you will not be able to even give that help to a child. For example, some children come into school and maybe the child might be having her periods. Imagine that kind of a setting. And so if you as a teacher, you're not informed, you're not aware of what is really happening to that child at that particular time, you will not be able to give that extra help to the child. You won't be able to time the child. You will not be able to prompt the child. You won't be able to follow up. So most children need extra support to be able to strive. We don't leave it's not a system where we should say, okay, this is just for the parent. In as much as the parent has a major role to play, the teacher or whoever is the caregiver also have part and major role to play. It has to be a collaborative effort. So informations like how the child is being cared for, self-care must be taken note. So when the child comes, in fact, you need to take details of everything. How is the child feeling? What's the temperature like? You check details, you check, is she okay? Why is she cranky? What did she eat this morning? We go as far as asking questions like that so that we can be able to support the child and then release extra help to the child. So I said something like adjusting teaching method. Yes, sometimes you need to adjust. Sometimes the children will have to suggest what you will teach. So many times when I walk into the classroom and then the classroom is exciting, you just notice that some of them are picking a certain material. They are picking up what they want. So at that point, they are suggesting to you what they want you to teach them. They are suggesting. And sometimes we as teachers, we want to follow our lesson plan, want to just go through what we've written. We need to adjust. We need to learn to also accommodate them, even at their own needs. Sometimes they have a need at that particular time, and we need to be able to meet it. So I feel like adjusting to your teaching method is very important. Then using useful, helpful technologies, very simple technology. There's a speech flashcard which we have that the child will need to insert the card. And whenever the child inserts the card, the machine would call out the word and the child will imitate. So these are simple materials, simple things that can help the child, that can help learning fun. And then at the end of the day, the child doesn't really see learning as stress or sees it as something difficult. The child is enjoying the process and we are also getting the progress. So I said support emotional needs. Yes, support emotional needs. Our children are special learners, apart from the fact that they have Down syndrome. Some of them have a lot of emotions that they struggle with. Some of them are looking for cuddles. There's a child in my class that is always going under the table. I had to make research. What is actually making this child always going under the table? Then I noticed that some children just need a warm space. They need somewhere very warm, somewhere they could just find themselves in between. So we should be there to always foster and to give the support to these children. It actually makes them feel relaxed. It makes them feel comfortable in a setting and then assume that they are accepted in that environment. So working daily with parents, yes, we cannot overemphasize it. Parents collaboration is very, very important. Working with your specialist, your speech therapist, your occupational therapy, very important. You need those information for you to be able to follow up whatever you are teaching the child, whatever you are communicating to the child. For example, in my own setting or in the setting that we operate, the speech therapist sometimes has to be present in the class because I noticed that a lot of times they have different methods that they use to communicate and to ensure that these children are able to say some certain things. So you hear them say, this child can say some certain things in my own class. The child is able to say this word and you're not yet experiencing the child saying that. So sometimes you need to invite the speech therapist. You need to let them to be around the environment so they can also suggest to you, okay, this is the method, this is the approach. And we don't just stop that learning in school. We also relate it to the parents. We ensure that the parents also follow through the writing patterns, the reading patterns, the song patterns. A lot of time we sing a lot of songs. We ensure that, okay, does the parents know that we are singing about, at this point we're talking about private parts, or there's a song for it. Okay, are they aware that we are talking about self-care? Is the parents aware that we are teaching the child how to wash your hands? So all these things are what would ensure that learning does not just stop in school, but also proceeds and moves to their home, their church, wherever they find themselves. So next slide, please. Okay, so I said the key strategy for success. So we have to create an inclusive classroom, an atmosphere that is very welcoming, that makes them feel relaxed. Sometimes I take the classroom outside the class. I take the classroom outdoor. We take the classroom to music so that the children are not over familiar of the same environment, so that they can also be able to explore different environments and also be able to, relate with other environments. Sometimes we go outside, even outside the school. We ensure that learning does not just stop in the classroom. We ensure that every environment has something that is inclusive, even from when they step into the building, from when they step into school. The environment is already very inclusive. They already have something they can feel, something they can press, something, because most times they are very good with their hands. They want to, feel something, they want to press, they want to hear sounds, they want you to make sound, they want something that gives them energy. They want an activity that will stimulate them, they want to jump, they want to hug, they want to run. So we ensure that the setting is very inclusive. This also is a very good way to help and ensure that our children are gaining progress. They are making progress in their daily life. So I said communicate clearly with parents and specialists. Yes, you have to be very clear with the parents. You have to make them understand that sometimes you use words and even the parents, they don't understand. If I tell a parent that, okay, today we are learning about letter formation, the parents might be wondering, oh, what is she talking about? What is letter formation? But if I tell the parent that, okay, today we are forming curves, we are learning how to write curves, how to, make our curves, maybe write your letter C, but in different patterns. We are going to the left today, and tomorrow we are going to the right. It's easier for the parents to understand. It's easier for them to understand that, okay, this is the stage at which my child is right now. So even as much as we are, we want to be on the term, we want to use our terms as professionals, ensure that the people you are communicating to really understands what you're talking about. Ensure that you're not just talking to yourself. I've had an experience where I passed an information to a parent only for me to notice that the parents did not really understand what I said. And at the end of the day, the learning was not understood. The learning wasn't clear. The child got more confused. So it's very important that we make communication very clear and simple. Next slide. Okay, this is environmental and structural supports. Yes, environmental, very important. Students where they focus best, e.g. in the near the front. Okay, e.g. near the front. Place students where the focus best. Yes, sometimes I notice that a child wants to be on a particular table, maybe on the red table, and then you are insisting that the child sits on the green table. The child is giving you signs that I want to be on the red table. I'm feeling very comfortable on the red table. Maybe the red table are giving lots of vibes. The red table, they are just playing with everything, all the materials around them. So sometimes we must also look at these things so that we ensure that our children are in the right position, even when they are at home. Sometimes change your environment. It's not necessary that every time they come back from home, they have to do the same routine. You have to allow them, okay, just have a twist of what is regular. Have a twist of, I know that yes, they are very good with routines, but let's always ensure that most time they experience a twist of the regular. So we know that when the child comes home, the child is supposed to have his or her bath. Immediately you have carried the child's take home and you're insisting, oh, come and do your take home. The child is feeling cranky, the child is maybe tired, the child is trying to communicate some needs to you. At that point, I feel it's okay for you to let the child be. Let the child be. Then maybe play. You can introduce play. Then while you're playing, you understand that, oh yes, this child is actually responding. Then you can push forward the learning. You can push forward what you want to pass. You can put forward the information you want to pass. You can quickly teach the child about self-awareness. You can quickly take the child outside, even the plants. Sometimes I use plants to teach them. Sometimes we are jumping and we are counting. And at the end of the day, I could see the excitement in them and I could see that they will not forget that lesson. They would, even as they are going into their classes, they're still jumping and they're still counting. They're still jumping and they're still saying their sight words. Because we must learn not to stick to a particular method to teach children, especially children with living with Down syndrome. They like to explore when it comes to learning. I said physical adjustments, reduce noise. Yes, reduce noise or other sensory challenge. Yes, yes, very important. We should ensure that our learning environments are not noisy. Some of these children struggle with noise. Sometimes when they are learning, they close their ears. Maybe there's a slight noise, and the noise is distracting to their ears. And so if some of us wonder, why are they closing their ears? Why is this child behaving like this? It could be that there's a form of noise that is distracting the child. It could even be that sometimes their peers make some certain noise and it's distracting. There's a child in my class that always snatches her teeth. And when she does that thing, even me as a teacher, I could feel the sensory on my body. So whenever she snatches the teeth, there's one the other child will be hitting the table that she should stop it, stop it, stop it. And she has a way of always, whenever you're doing something that is distracting to her, she's off balance, she's not able to learn. She will either be touching me that I should, tell the other students to stop the noise. So we should ensure, that's why I always ensure that I place my children on one-on-one. So it means that if that particular child is not comfortable with the environment, I can take the child outside the classroom. I can take the child to a more relaxed environment. And then at the end of the day, we are able to achieve our goal. So that's what really matters. Now, it says support students with sensory processing difficulties. Yes, a lot of times our children struggle because of sensory difficulties. They have maybe some of them, if when you introduce some materials to them, the touch, the feel on their skin is not convenient for them, and it automatically sends a signal to the brain. It automatically sends a signal that disrupts learning. So we must learn to also help to address all these needs before introducing a child to a lesson. The next slide. It says environmental and structural support, routine and organization. Yes, routine and organization, very important. So for example, I have a class, and in the setting where I operate, if you pick up a material from the shelf, if a child picks up a material from a shelf, I ensure and allow the child to always return the material back to where the child picked the material. This would enable and help the child to also, be able to keep things where sometimes our children, after using material, they just throw it. In fact, some of them throw things, and then we will quickly want to tidy it up for them, pick up the materials. Instead of doing that to them, you could have a song and tell them it's pick up time, it's clean up time, and you will see the excitement in their faces that they are picking up. Oh, I'm picking up my materials, I'm arranging my materials, it's pack up time. You have to organize your things. And even we as teachers, as mothers, as siblings, we should also try to be organized so that these children already have a lifestyle of understanding that, okay, this particular setting, when you pick up something from here, you have to place it back in the same shelf where you put your things. In fact, we go as far as labeling those shelves. We number the shelves and we say, okay, put it in A, put it in B. That's when the child have actually progressed into understanding those letters. So it's easier for the child. You tell the child, okay, go to the shelf B and pick up a material. And the child quickly goes to shelf B and pick up materials. At that point, you're not just teaching the child to get to the shelf and pick up. You're also teaching the child to be able to understand what sequences, so to be able to understand how to organize things. If we're able to follow up through this method and approach, I feel like our children will be more confident when they get into an environment that is organized. They will not live there, they will not leave the place scattered, even though in some cases, yes, they might have to do that. But it's not going to be, it will also be like a progress plan for us. Okay, these are the things we need to work on. We need to ensure that our children are able to gather their materials, gather their work tools where they work, and put it intact. Then I said diverse teaching methods. Use visuals, hands-on activities, and auditory tools. Very important. We cannot overemphasize on the use of visuals for children, especially Down syndrome children. They love to see what they are learning. In fact, sometimes if a child is not even able to picture what you're talking about, it has a way of affecting the child's speech. So if you're able to show the child, oh, this is the potty, the child is already seeing that it's a potty and it's potty time. He sees the picture potty and sees the real potty in the classroom. It's easier to be able to transmit information. It's easier for the child to understand what the child needs to do. So we cannot even take away visuals. We can't take away hands-on materials, hands-on hands-on activities, use of sound. In my class, I use sound a lot. Sound. Children they like to be messy when they learn. They like to color, they like to paint. All these things makes learning not just very rigid. They have the experience that, oh, we are coming to school, and then school is fun. They know that, okay, wherever setting they are, even when I'm at home, it's fun and it's engaging. So engage different learning style, engage them in different styles, ensure that we're not just sticking to the regular teaching pattern. We are also trying as much as possible to exploit different methods. Ensure that your child is learning with pictures. We cannot overemphasize on that. We are not the regular school, we are not the regular setting where we just tell the child this is this, and you want the child to automatically pick it. Always ensure that you involve the child with pictures. Okay, so the next slide says positive reinforcement. Yes, positive reinforcement. In my class, I give a lot of stickers because my children love stickers. I give them stickers. Sometimes I give them a treat and they are happy. Sometimes we blow balloons. Sometimes we write on their hands. Sometimes we put love on their hands and they go home. You see them raising up their hand till when they get home. They're showing mommy, see my hand. I got a sticker today. I got a love patch. Sometimes I'll tell them, give yourself a love color. So all these things are what actually ensures that our children are gaining and learning. So I think assistive technology, yes, speech, very important. Visual schedules and structured tools. Ensure that you're using materials, tools that even your children should be able to handle it. I have a child that when I'm working with her on speech, she puts the chewy by herself in her mouth and she's chewing it. And I feel more comfortable that way because I understand that I'm not just teaching the child. The child is also learning to use those things by herself. Learning to use those things by herself. I think at this point I've been able to, wrap up what a support in the classroom looks like. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the class, the rest of the day. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. That was powerful, Uche, as usual. Thank you so much. Of course, I didn't expect less from you. Um, everyone, are you still here? If you're still here, let me see. Like, send me a message, send the group a message, send everybody a message, send your emojis. Let's see. Okay, that's my boss. I've got my boss online today. Who wants to know him? Dr. Adeleke. I cannot begin to talk about him. This man is a powerful lecturer, special needs guru. He's very popular in Nigeria. So thank you, sir, for joining. Thank you so much. And Uche is asking for your slide. Mr. Owade is my mentor. He's my boss. He has been a very, very great support system for me over the years. Thank you, sir, for joining. The next speaker we are having today is my beautiful Moyi Oluwabenis Makinde. Everybody drum rolls. Do you know it was only yesterday I gave her a script because I have been so busy. I was trying to use like the easy read. There's what you call the easy read, kind of like it's a planner that will help you. It's like an accommodation. It helps people with intellectual disabilities to read through scripts. So it will have pictures of like if you want to read about a shop, like maybe I'm going to the shop, it will have like picture of somebody, a girl or a boy. You have a picture of a shop or something like that. So that's what we call the easy read. Okay, so I have with me, who else is here with me? Who else is here with us? Okay, I'm going to be checking very soon to check who is here with us again. Miss Funke. Okay, everybody please welcome Miss Funke. Drum rolls too. Puppies Funke. I've met people on this journey. Hey, I became a teacher by, is it choice now or chance? I don't know. But honestly, I didn't know I could do this. And I'm encouraging parents now that you can do this. You can work with teachers. You can partner. It's a multidisciplinary approach we always like to use, but at the same time, if you look at yourself as the therapist, as the mother, the counselor, the everything, you will draw strength from all of that and do what you need to do. We actually need to do what we need to do and just leave the rest. We cannot leave everything for the teachers. That was wonderful, Uche. Thank you. We move on to the next speaker. Like I said, how do I introduce my darling daughter? How do I? How do I? Everybody make welcome. Moi, Makide, Moi, can you unmute yourself? You've been taught how to unmute yourself, okay? See if you can. What do you click on to unmute yourself? Oh, great. That's fantastic. There you go. So let me have a slide. Are you happy?
Yes.
What's happening?
What's going on? Bathroom.
You want to use the bathroom?
No.
Are you tensed?
No. I'm saying I'm be quick.
Oh, guys, I think Mo is tensed. She just said she wants to use the bathroom. It happens to us, doesn't it? Oh my world, this is really interesting. And she said, I'll be quick. So please, let's be patient. Honorable Speaker. Please, can we mute? Can we mute if we're not speaking? Thank you very much. Can we identify the person? Okay. I don't know. Mrs. Giwa Adenike, please, can you mute? Thank you. While we are waiting for more, I want to suggest we take like some questions. So if you're here, you can just unmute. I mean, you can unmute yourself and ask questions if you want, so we can save time. Anybody with questions? Let me check the chat room. Thank you for joining, Adenike. Funke, thank you for joining. This Funke, another special, powerful, I don't know what to say, Funke. You left me and went to Ibadan. So Funke also is just like Uche. So if you see Funke, if you see Uche, you've seen Funke. If you see Funke, I have people like that, powerful people that, we've been together over the years, done this work together, with passion, developed our skills together, worked hand in hand together. And sometimes you look at them and, you say things like,
No.
they don't even have these kids. Mr. Adeleke. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can chip in anything. Thank you, sir. It's such an honor.
You are
Thank
doing
you.
great, oh. Thank God for the grace.
Everybody, welcome my boss, please. Welcome my boss. Thank you, sir.
Well done. God bless you for all these efforts. I want to appreciate your efforts and everyone that is supporting you.
Thank you, sir.
The resilience, the courage, the determination. I was just in Moi when she said she was pressed to go and ease herself. I said, you have done great work.
Oh,
The Lord will continue to strengthen you.
thank you, sir.
And also strengthen every parent. I just want to ask a question. Hello?
Oh, go ahead, sir.
How do we involve the indigent parents?
Very good
You
question.
know, we have a lot of parents within this cluster area being the most vulnerable disability.
Yes, sir.
And there is a gross link between this developmental disability and poverty, especially in African setting. Most of our parents cannot even afford the Android phone, let alone being able to use anything called Zoom or what have you, doing virtual training and the likes. How do we have the grace of stepping down all these wonderful training, information, exposition to the grassroots where the indigent parents can benefit? Most of them are focusing only on what can come to them in tangible form and support, vocational support and money transfer, what have you. The information that are very, they don't have access to it. So my thinking is that how do we step down these activities to the grassroots and get the indigent parents involved so that they can be of help to their children? And I equally appeal to Mrs. Uche. Can she share us her slide? I was impressed by that presentation. And I'll be glad if I can have the slide. Maybe I get it through Mrs. Makinde. Is Mrs. Uche online? This is Dr. Adeleke from University of Calabar.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You
Thank you
get it,
very
sir.
much. You will get the
I
slide,
think
sir.
I must have met you once when I came to your center.
Yes.
Please, I won't mind if you can share me your slide. You can share it through, or you collect my phone number from Mrs. Makinde.
Okay, you will get it
Thank-
across. Ms. Makinde will get across to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, that your question kind of broke, well, I can't say it broke my heart because I know it's one of the things I've always been thinking about. The reason why I developed, though it's not a topic for today, I developed that early intervention kit because that early intervention kit is to go to the families. And I talked about family literacy from the beginning. We can do this thing. We've gone to those communities before. We've tried to organize webinars, trainings for them. We've tried. For example, most of them are not on WhatsApp. That breaks my heart. Totally. But I know there are ways we try to engage them by teaching them hands-on techniques on, different ways they can support their children, probably invite them to PTA meetings. I know the teachers engage with them. We give progress reports. We tell them where their child is at, how we meet their child in the middle, tell them how to go about stuff. But this kind of training, because you cannot stop getting information and learning, and that's the way progress happens. If you stop doing what you need to do, what should be done, progress may stop. Regression may take place. We all know this. And it is a job we must do every day, just like our other kids. We keep guiding them, supporting them, teaching them from but we children, people that have intellectual disabilities, the only thing I think we need to do, and we need these parents to understand, is for them to be proactive. For example, if these indigent parents can think in the next 6 months, where do I want to see my child? Where do I, because a lot of, and again, we're dealing with stigma, we're dealing with what people have said, what society is saying, that your child cannot go to school, don't waste money. Your child cannot go to school, your child cannot do this. So they are kind of a bit laid back. And while some of them are really working hard and happy that their child can at least go to school, but that is not the greatest achievement their child, can achieve or attain. So it is a very, very big question, and we will be introducing I'm sorry, we would be dealing with very wicked problems faced with Nigeria. How do we get support for them to be literate, digitally literate, for them to have like phones, laptops, data? Who funds all of that? Because they can learn. They can be in this kind of meetings. We can do translations for them in Yoruba. I've done this before because when I started doing the grassroots work from about 11 years ago, we started from grassroots. We're doing Pidgin English, Yoruba, Igbo. Uche will testify to all of this. We were doing all of that, and those parents came out. We saw them. They were from indigent homes. But because they saw we were doing things, not blowing big grammar, these people are not on Instagram. They are not. So I think it's something we have to maybe look at again and start to find the proper solutions to that. In the meantime, I would like to move again because of our time. Luma would log us out if we don't catch up. And we still have this amazing Mr. Ola that is coming to take us. I think it's in Egypt or so. He lives in Egypt. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'll be bringing you after Moyi, I think. Right now, let me bring Moyi up because we're running out of time now. We still have time for questions. Moyi, over to you.
Okay.
Cyprus. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let me introduce Moyi. Short speech on what support means to you. Moyi Makinde is a bright and inspiring 14-year-old whose joyful spirit lights up every room she enters. Living with Down syndrome and autism, Moyoluwa embraces life with courage, confidence, and creativity. She has a deep love for dancing and basketball. Known as Mo Ballerina. She loves the ballet dance. Mo, go ahead. Is this Mo's slide?
Yeah.
No, ma, we'll be sharing more slide now.
Okay, please do. Thank you. We're running out of time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hmm?
Went to pee, first of all. Everybody, I'm sorry. Okay, I went to pee. Now go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so Matmo with Hope by Monomac Debanes. Hello everyone, my name is Monomac Debanes. I'm 14 years old. I live with Down syndrome. Something people think my life is sad or difficult, but no, my life is full of hopes, dramatics, and plans for tomorrow. Get to know me. I am learning to be disciplined. I am learning to do things by myself. I can talk to my mom on the phone. I even asked to go to my friend's house. This made me laugh and made my mom proud. Yes. Mom says, Mom said it's a big step. My my family believe in me. I am blessed to have them. Hold on. Okay. Yes, I have Down syndrome. Yeah, I also have some sometimes my body feel tired. Some days are not easy, but this does not stop me. It teaches me to be strong. I learned that hope is more than a word. Hope helped me live my life. Every morning I say to myself, I am smart, I am loved, I can do amazing things. I help at home. I take care of myself. I plan my week with my mom. My dream is to help other young people like me. I want them to believe in themselves. I want them to never give up. I am still learning takes time, and it's okay. I am planning my tomorrow with hope. Every day I get closer to the young woman I want to be. Introducing myself, I am a marketing business. I am proudly living my tomorrow as a dancer, paparazzi, ballerina, and IT lover. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay, let me
wow.
feel the home. Let me feel the room. I said home.
Wow.
Let
Thank
me
you,
feel the room,
Mo.
everybody. Let me see how you're feeling about Moin's speech. I feel I don't know how I'm feeling. Should I say, I can't say inspired. Everybody knows inspired. Inspired. More, should I say encouraged or should I say excited? I don't know what to say, honestly. Yes, Mo, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. We've been looking at support systems. I'm really, really impressed, because we've really, really been working hard to get to where we are. I I will be I'm looking forward to share my WhatsApp messages with Mo. Moi has been we started this year. Moi has been sending WhatsApp messages to me back and forth. Oh my God, some of them blow my mind. Some of them I just cry and be like, how? We are finally getting to well, we're not there yet, but we are here. And I am grateful for it. Very grateful for it. I want to say thank you, Moi, for allowing yourself to wake up early to come and speak to the big people I told you about. Yeah? And are you proud of yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We have to move to the next speaker. Thank you, Moi.
Thank you.
All right. So I have another teacher with me. Oh, powerful people we've been working with. Her name Vera Echena. Thank you for joining us, Vera. Thank you for walking this journey with our children. Ah, it's an amazing journey. Thank you, Vera. I appreciate your presence. Uh, everybody, please welcome Miss Vera as well. So right about now, I'm bringing on board to speak. She is representing Mrs. Grace Teiko Emiter. Please forgive me if I didn't say the name well, but and you would introduce yourself just shortly, okay? Thank you so much. Mrs. Agnes Teiko Emiter, Executive Director, Down Syndrome Association Ghana, founder, Toda Connect Foundation. She's unavoidably absent today, and then she has someone representing her to give a speech. Okay, can we welcome you, please? His name is David, I think David Maxwell. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay,
hello everyone.
over to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ola. Unfortunately, I had to be in sunglasses because I had cataract surgery just a few days ago, so my apologies for that. So
Oh,
Agnes,
get well soon, darling. Thank you.
my pleasure. So Madam Agnes, she's my mom, and then so I have a sister with Down syndrome. She also has a daughter with Down syndrome, and she works as the executive director of the Down Syndrome Association of Ghana, and I happen to also work as the project manager for the association. And we co-founded the Toda Connect Foundation. It's named after my sister Toda, who is also 14, like Moin. I'm asking her to come in, but I think she's watching cartoons indoors and she doesn't want to leave. I might have to probably go pull her out. So we prepared some slides, which I'm going to share quickly. So I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, please? I would
Yes, we
appreciate
can.
you.
We can.
Okay. Okay, all right. So I'm presenting on whose role it is to improve support systems for persons with Down syndrome. And in preparing this slides, there were a lot of stories and anecdotes from our personal interactions with persons with Down syndrome, and just some facts about what Down syndrome and disability issues are in Ghana. So last week, I came across an article which was talking about the number of millionaires in USD in Ghana of money. So I was very intrigued about it.
I think we're losing him, right? Is there a way we can chat to him and let him know his network is fluctuating or something?
Sorry, I think can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I think I had bad connection. My apologies. So I don't know why it cut, but I was saying that a week ago I was reading about an article that said that there were about 2,600 millionaires in Ghana and everybody loves money. So I was thinking to myself, that's a big number. What can I do to get to that amount of money? Anyway, Toda is here. So Toda, come say hello to everyone.
Hi.
So this is Toda. She's my sister. She lives with Down syndrome. And it's because of her that I have the opportunity to be talking about subjects like this.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I'm talking
Nice to
about
see
you
you.
because you put a chair and come and sit where you
Thank you.
take this one.
Hello, Toda. Nice to have you. Thank you.
Let's say hello. Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Please go
Sorry,
ahead.
so this was on plan. So then it got my attention. So then I was thinking, what could I do to be a millionaire in Ghana? And then the advocate that I am, I started looking at the numbers and I realized it's only 2,600 millionaires in Ghana, but there are over 2 million people living with disabilities in Ghana and over 30,000 people living with Down syndrome in Ghana. So the probability of me being disabled is way more than the probability of me being a millionaire in Ghana. So it is imperative that disability issues and how to improve support systems for people or persons with disabilities. Down syndrome should be paramount to every Ghanaian citizen. But unfortunately, nobody thinks like that, and it's so unfortunate. So my next slide, 1 second. What is a support system? So for us, support systems are anything that creates an enabling environment for persons with Down syndrome to thrive. So it has to be with the community, the infrastructure, the institutions that are going to help people with Down syndrome have good education, be given an opportunity to work, be given an opportunity to have healthcare, to participate fully in society, and live with dignity. And the number one in Ghana is fight stigma. So then what do people with Down syndrome, what do they need to thrive? So, I mean, we all know this. They need to be included in our education system. They need to be given opportunities to earn a living and be independent. We need to constantly be advocating for persons with Down syndrome. So my mother, she has a TikTok page that she's created, which has like almost about 40,000 plus people, and she's always advocating for persons with Down syndrome. Toda is there. She likes dancing like like Mo, so she's also dancing. She started doing ballet, but she grew out of love with it. And now we're taking her to do traditional dance because we realized that's what she loves to do. So there was this, so like I said earlier, a lot of these slides are from personal anecdotes. So recently, there was a lady who is in a support group who raised an issue. There is a big advocate in Ghana. I think she's the biggest advocate for persons with autism or autistic people. And she created an early intervention center, sort of like a school. So when the parents were dropping their kids off, it's for persons with autism, but obviously, because it's for an early intervention center, persons with other disabilities with like Down syndrome also attend. So there was a parent who was dropping a ward off who had Down syndrome, and another parent who was dropping a ward off who had autism. She said, "What are these people also doing here?" She was complaining about the child with Down syndrome being mixed with the children with autism because she did not want to learn from the people with Down syndrome. And it hit me. I mean, at that day, I was so upset because I realized that the stigma that we are trying to fight is not just a societal stigma that affects persons who have no interest with persons with disabilities. Even in the disability community itself, we stigmatize against each other. We think that this person's disability is better than ours, or we think our children's disability is milder, and so they deserve to have a better shot or a better chance of being fully accepted into society, which was, I mean, I couldn't get my head around it. And 2 weeks ago, our president launched a really great initiative that we are all happy about. So from this year, tertiary education for persons with disabilities are free. So they go to university for free. And I was at the launch. And before we got to the launch, we were celebrating it because it was a big feat in Ghana. We thought that this was a win for persons with disabilities. But when we got to the launch, we realized that the policies were leaning heavily towards like deaf and dumb
Oh, sorry, everyone. That should be network again. I have with me just a wee break in transmission. I have someone with me here, Tiana. I don't know why you're awake. She's joining us from the US. Everybody, please help me welcome Tiana Williams, my dear friend and my partner. She's been a very great support, while we wait for what's his name? David to get back on. But in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, okay, he's back on. He's back on. Um, Now we are pressed for time because I don't know. Luma works, is it just 3 hours Luma
Sorry,
does? Okay. Hi, David. Are you there? Oh, okay, David.
yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we lost you for a
Can you hear
minute.
me?
Yes, please. Um, you don't have much time left.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly rush through this.
Okay, can you yeah, thank you.
Okay, so like I was saying, with persons with disabilities, what I realized is that
So it's definitely the network. How many minutes does he have left, please? What a shame.
That's
Uh,
5 minutes.
how many minutes?
5 minutes more to wrap up.
Okay, well, oh dear. Thank you, Tiana, for staying awake to join us. Okay, so what do we do? Anyone with questions? You can unmute yourself, say something. Okay, it's trying to join back. So it's right back. Let's see. It's trying to join with his phone, I think. Let's see if that works. Right. Thank you very much.
I keep being logged out.
So sorry. Right. So
I don't know if I have any more time left. I had about 5 more minutes of speech, but unfortunately my internet is not stable enough to allow me. So I don't know if you allow me to have a few more minutes to speak, but if not, I'll be happy to move on.
I think you can go ahead. I think you have
Okay.
like 3 minutes left. Just let's see what are the major things you want us to go home with from your speech.
Okay, so one of the major things is I was trying to draw parallels between the LGBTQ movement and our movement as persons with Down syndrome. And I know it's a touchy subject because of the moral and the religious aspect that has to go with it. But every time I think about it, um, when you single out the letters, you talk about just the L community, nobody knows what it is. Talk about just the G community, but when you talk about LGBTQ as a movement, it's so powerful that even in areas where we have no acceptance whatsoever, they still have the ability to breach. And talking about it is it's so powerful. And I believe that as persons with Down syndrome and associations that advocate for persons with Down syndrome and other disabilities, if we could come together and then be a united front, we'll have a voice which is very powerful. But if we are going to discriminate against each other and not, afford the respect and dignity that we deserve as a unit, then I mean, what are we doing? We are drawing ourselves back even within our own community. So quickly, let me run through it. So whose role it is to improve our system? It's the families, first and foremost, because that's where the first acceptance is. If the family is not accepting persons with disabilities, then we don't expect society to do the same. In Ghana, there is a term that you're going to see your child off, and it's an euphemism for infanticide for persons with disabilities. And it's a thing. I mean, when you have a child with disabilities, they say that you have to go and then leave them at the riverbank so that the water will take them away. And that's a perception that we have even in the urban community. So the families will have to do their work, schools and educators. Of course, we need to put in more funding. We need to resource the teachers, make sure that they have everything that they need, and then do a lot of research so that we can include them. Healthcare providers. When we had another lady in our group who had a child with Down syndrome, and the doctor refused to see her after she had given birth because she said that if she associates with a child like that, she's also going to have a child with Down syndrome, and that's a doctor. So I believe that there's education that goes beyond the family, the schools, healthcare providers, of course, our employers. We need to create chances for persons with disabilities to also thrive. Policymakers in Ghana, there are so many policies you practice and executed properly. I'm sure that we could really improve our support systems for persons with Down syndrome. And then
Well, thank you so much, David. That was powerful. That was powerful. And it's really interesting to be learning about what's happening in Ghana? Hmm. It's frozen. The screen is frozen at the moment, so I believe he's not hearing what I'm saying. But a round of applause for David. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, you guys know what to do. You know what to do. Okay, so this is quite interesting, and I have a quick question for David, and I'm hoping he comes back on, and that is about the evil forest. He's trying to get back on now. It's about that evil forest thing. The first time I heard the story, okay, so Nigeria has its own stories. We've heard stories in Africa about children with Down syndrome being buried alive in the farms. And they say, okay, take the child to the village. And that is the end of that child. So it's quite interesting. I would want to know, is David back? Are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Oh,
I had to
sorry,
switch
I'm
my
so
phone
sorry.
because my laptop wasn't helping.
So I have a question for you, and thank you so much. And that was profound. Everyone really, really has learned, great lessons from, what you said. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm in a meeting. Sorry. So I wanted to talk about the quick, like just 30 seconds. Is it that same evil tree? Is there something like that in Ghana where they take the children to? Then the evil spirit from the forest comes to take the child, and we believe that wild animals have just come and consumed the children.
Yes, it's there. It's there. But for us, it's not an evil tree, it's a river. They say that they are children from the river. So
Okay.
you just go leave them by the river bank and you abandon them.
Okay.
And I think in January this year, a popular newscaster in Ghana, she called my mother about a situation like that the family were going to leave their child.
David, I think we're going to be bringing you back on again. We're going to be bringing you back on again. We need more information, and this is us working together to stigmatize the stigma, and we'll bring you back on again. Because I'm not hearing you. We want to bring back the next speaker. Thank you so, so much. We really appreciate your time. And let us have the next speaker now because we're running out of time. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. So I bring to you a force to be reckoned with. Today, I want to say thank you, Olatunji Solomon Ola. Thank you so much for making our time out of a very busy schedule to join us to share powerful knowledge and nuggets with everyone present here. So, can I bring on Mr. Ola? Can we meet him? I think his topic today is community as, oh, I'm sorry, what am I saying? What am I reading? Empowering independence in Down syndrome. That's his topic. That's just like the community as a co-therapist. So Olatunji Solomon, I'm reading his bio now. And Olatunji Solomon, Ola is an accomplished occupational therapist and university lecturer with a distinguished record in clinical practice, education, and therapeutic innovation. He is a co-founder and visionary leader of QLabits Nigeria, a company dedicated to the design and fabrication of high-quality therapy equipment that bridges the gap between local rehabilitation resources and international standards. Holding an advanced master's degree in neurooccupational therapy and currently pursuing a PhD, he has delivered numerous international and local trainings for professionals supporting individuals with disabilities. His pioneering initiatives include the virtual masterclass in advanced neurosensory strategies, reflecting his commitment to advancing therapeutic practice through creativity, culture relevance, and evidence-based innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us make welcome Dr. Olatunji Solomon Ola, all the way from Cyprus. Okay, let me start to feel the home. Why am I saying home? Let me fill the room with your accolades. Let
Welcome,
me fill the room.
sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Over
you.
to you, sir.
Please, can you allow my presentation? Can you allow me share my presentation, please?
Nice to
And
have you here
good
at
morning,
last.
good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much to everyone. It's
Say
been
hi. I'm just going to disturb you and say I'm so excited to see you here. You don't even understand. This makes me so
I'm really excited to meet you, even though it's virtual, but I'm
Right.
really excited. I listened to your presentation, and as expected, it was interesting. Thank you very much for everything you do. I've heard a lot about you, a lot about you. I thought I was going to visit you when I came around, but I was extremely engaged in other things. But obviously, I'm going to be meeting you very soon, very soon. And Mrs. Tola, thank you for the opportunity. For the few people who know me, I really love to teach and I love to learn. And as a Nigerian, I believe that we all have substrates of disability, and I'm happy to have that, in all honesty. And I grew up with less toys because I grew up with my grandparents. So I started learning what victimization, what lack of resources were, even though we weren't poor per se. So I didn't know I was ever going to become a therapist or a teacher in the process. So seeing some of these things now as a practitioner or as a professional has really enhanced, my belief that this is just a calling for me. So the topic today is community as co-therapist. And I've listened to many people and their questions, their suggestions, and I was just smiling a bit. And I told myself, one of the problems we have is that the community does not really have the information that says, even in disability, you can make money. I want to be plain. They don't know that the disability itself is an industry. They don't know. And it has become paramount for us to let them know that this is an industry. This is not just a space that takes away your funds, your finances, and the likes. It is also a space that actually gives you money. That's one of the first things I think we are missing. We don't know that it is an industry. And another thing is, we've been talking a lot about inclusion. What exactly is this inclusion when we talk about children with Down syndrome and other related disabilities? So some of these things I'm going to be sharing. So first, and I'm happy that a lot of people already spoke about the community, the parents, the teachers, and the like. So it's basically what I'm also going to be talking about, but maybe a bit of a difference because of my specialty. So how does the community become a therapist? That is the question I am answering. How does the community become a therapist? First, we need to understand that in order for these children to reach their goals, we must allow the community to understand the domains of the problems these children face. And from these domains is where I'm going to be picking each of their roles gradually. So I'll be talking about 8 domains where community can function as a co-therapist. We have more than this, but because of time, I had like 18 before, but when I saw that it's going to be limited to 20 minutes, I just had to, bring them down to 8. So, pardon me. One of the first domain is hypothonia or low muscle tone. We see children with Down syndrome, they get tired easily, even when they want to play. We see their postures in class. They have irregular postures that also contribute to their fatigability. Then we know generally that they have milestone issues. They develop it. It's difficult for them to develop. So what do we do as a community? There are something we called movement-rich routines. Postural support and active play. A lot of people already spoke about active play, but what are movement-rich routines? Movements are like medications to the muscles. And the beautiful thing is this. Many people say, oh, trisomy 21, they have extra chromosome. But one of the things people don't know is that the function of chromosome itself to the DNA or to the bodies, it actually serves as a blueprint for which the whole body operates. So now my question is this: if this is a blueprint and a guide, So the chromosome guides everything. So I think these children actually has extra information that all of us don't have. And I'm going to say that at the end of my presentation, one of the inspirations I got from children with Down syndrome professionally. So if chromosome is the blueprint, it is the direction and guide for the body, how are we using them when we have children with this sort of related specialties? Let me put it like that. So now I'm going to be sharing from our company one of the ways we believe we can help with all this. So what is currently happening here is crab walking, or which we always see and we let children do. And you can see some of those videos. These are some of the ways we have used tools to help children engage in movement-rich routines. And one of the things here is, if you can see, everything around here are just from wood to leather to foam and to pads. This means for the community. And what does this mean for children living with Down syndrome? It simply means we can teach them how some of these tools are made. We can teach them how they can market some of these tools. Organizations can collaborate with therapists and equipment facilitators to make this happen, make it cheap, accessible for homes, for clinics, for therapy centers, inclusive schools. These are some of the things we are missing and lacking. For example, to buy some of this equipment abroad require a minimum of 500,000 naira to like sometimes ₦1 million. But in Nigeria, for example, my organization makes this for half of that price, because we believe that if my organization, which is part of the community, understands that the finances is also a problem in this industry or this space, then we should be able to solve a problem. But we are also looking to help people understand how these products are made, not just how we fabricate it. So this is another movement routines, and as you can see, we call this the soft stairs. And we've spoken about children with Down syndrome playing and things like that. But the question is, what is the quality of their play? As an occupational therapist, we try to check for quality performances in children's play, not just for you to play like a general, like in general participation or performances in play, but inclusively ready play sessions. Do we really have that in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole? We really do not have. Why? They are expensive. So the question is, can we make it cheaper? And the answer is yes. How? We can always discuss that. Now, so I'm just showing us different movement routines and how postures are integrated. So as we can see, we've seen the child standing, we can see this person sitting, but something is happening there. There are performances, there are engagement, and these are basically what we are talking about in scenarios like this. And hopefully we can make it in more abundance for children. And I'm certain that we have seen children with Down syndrome in all these different postures and positions. We've seen them in it. But the difference is, one of the speakers said that they like to see, they like to observe a lot. So the question is, in these environments, where the school or where they live or where they learn or where they play, what do they observe? Is it still the same toys used by children without Down syndrome, or toys that are actually specified for children with Down syndrome and related disabilities? We have exposed our children to the normal sequences of toys and tools, but we have not exposed children without related disabilities to special tools and toys. This is what I'm trying to say here. All right, and we know I'm just showing some of those pictures to engage us in some of the things that are possible or that are meant to be available right now. So please just pardon, because you're going to see a few more images and the likes. Then we have joint laxity and instability. We know how unstable some of, especially if they are profound. We can see instability in their joints. We see sometimes they have excessive extension of some of this joint that affect their daily performances. weak grasp, for example, holding tools, maybe kitchen utensils, maybe writing pads, including even their school bags, trying to button their shirts. It becomes difficult for them because of joint-related issues. And what do we do as community? What are they meant to know? They are meant to understand that there are ways we adapt to this, which we call adapted tools. And we also have hand strength play. These are some of the adapted tools, which some of them have become commercialized or universal toys for these children. Then we understand parents should be able to do hand strengthening tasks for them. Very important. While teachers must allow adapted writing tools, in advanced countries, we've seen this a lot. And for the community, we must have certain support for them. I'm happy that we have a lot of therapy centers in Nigeria now who are doing this. And it's important to encourage more of this. But we must encourage it with inclusive techniques. And I think that is one of the things we are really struggling with in Nigeria. We have adopted a lot of foreign techniques in helping our children play, but we have not adopted inclusive techniques. And inclusive techniques are some of the core expertise of different therapists. They have learned it in school, they are practicing it, but it is difficult to always come out to show for different reasons that I'm not going to be explaining because of time. So I'm going to show us a short video of what adaptive tools are, how we can help children to learn how to make some of these things, how some of these tools or adaptive tools can be marketed or sold or introduced to the broader community. And like I said, there are things that can be partnered with therapists and other professionals, orthotists, prosthetists, and a lot of other professionals in this industry. Let me put it like that. So it looks simple, but these children start having a sense of belonging to the community. One of the questions I used to ask my students is, when they go for their internship, is how many individuals living with disabilities are producing? That's one of the questions. We have not allowed our special children and adolescents to produce because we have not taught them the skills on how to actually produce. We've engaged them in plays, we've engaged them in creative tasks, but how do they produce? How, for example, how are we so sure what they can do if they are not engaged in employment? If they are not employed, can they employ themselves? Can they create opportunities for employment because of the knowledge that has been imparted onto them by community voice or community techniques or community knowledge and awareness? These are some of the things, the true realistic gaps we have in this space and industry. The next one is, I show this video for us to see how do we use these adaptive tools. We already spoke about children having poor grasp because of joint-related issues or muscle problems. And we still want them to do different activities at home. We want them to brush their teeth, play with toys, paint, and a lot of things. But some of them don't even have not developed the grasps needed for this. How are we still going to help them engage? Because I've seen a lot of trying to fix it, especially when I was working in Nigeria. We try to do a lot of fixing just to make sure that, okay, this child is engaging. But what exactly are they engaging? What is the quality of the engagement? This is what I'm talking about. All right. So we have cognitive delays, and it's one of the domains I'm talking about. And we know how difficult it is for them to sequence tasks, to follow multiple steps and all those things. So I'm happy the teachers already spoke about visual schedules and all the step-by-step instructions. But how do we make this an opportunity for children with Down syndrome in the industry? So the picture we are seeing is a common picture we've seen. But the question is, have we equipped children with Down syndrome to be able to make this with the help of maybe an upholstery worker or a carpenter and things like that? And after making it, can they sell it to other organizations, inclusive schools, the government, such that even though the parent is spending on therapies, there is also something coming out of these therapy organizations that the government can invest on, that other organizations can invest on. These are real life questions we must be answering. And it starts to help these children improve their cognitive life cycle generally. And the moment they know that their efforts, cognitive efforts, are being rewarded, it reduces the pressure on children and on the community in general. So this is what cognitive delay is talking about. So what can the community do over time? Even though I've already said it, there's something called peer-mediated learning, where children, I know most times we call it as group therapy or group session and things like that. But the little issue with that is this: how do they use it for proper imitation? How do they engage in daily life imitations? And especially contextual wise. I'm sorry the picture didn't come up. I added a picture to it to give us better understanding, but it didn't come up. Now, for example, we have religious organizations. Do we have inclusive songs that are sung in the church that children with disabilities or Down syndrome can learn and sing in church, that shows that this church that my mom or dad goes actually recognizes us as part of the community? We have a lot of songs. In fact, we've even bastardized disabilities and the likes and Down syndrome to a point that we have negative songs for them. So how do we correct this as a community? It is through peer-mediated learning. Two Down syndrome children, one child without Down syndrome, then they learn together some certain areas of Down syndrome that are important to the community. This is what this is trying to talk about. Then we have the speech and language delay, which I'm really not going to be talking about because it's not a key area in my specialty. But we know that we have a lot of augmented assistive technologies that can be used. Now, the question is, we go to buy all this abroad and they are expensive. But thank God for AI, thank God for technology now. We have robotics happening in Nigeria, in other part of Africa. These are some of the tools we can start to build that our children can become part of. I think one of the organizations, maybe Patrick Speech or so, did something on robotics or about to do. These are some of the engagements we should start infusing these children into, for them to actually learn what is the end product, or what is the end skill needed to make this happen. So these are some of the things we are missing in the community that the community should know. Then sensory processing and sensory integration, which is one of the major areas of my profession. Now, if you look at this video, it look casual. But what is here? We spoke about turn taking, we spoke about their behaviors. Now, when you see, the whole idea is for her to be in a squatting position. So you can see that this person is squatting. Now, in squatting, this person still has to throw. But the person is not just going to throw because he's now on this particular tool. We make this tool in Nigeria as cheap as you can believe it. So, but you can see this waiting period is what we generally call turn taking. How do we do this? Most times we just tell the children, you know what, throw the ball. We sometimes count for them. We tell them to wait for sound. But how do we engage this process in a playful manner that the child understands that, oh, this session is actually for me, not a guide or a forced or a compulsory, a forced session on me. These are some of the things we talk about. So community as co-therapy, we must start to teach the community what sensory diets are. How do we actually do sensory diets? Then the teachers must start to learn about quiet corners, soft lighting, ETCs. Then we have inclusive playgrounds, which we really do not have now. When I came to Nigeria and visited some of the playgrounds we have, many of them are just the casual ones we've always had. So the question is, where are the disability-oriented playgrounds? Are they expensive? Yes. But can we make the prices so affordable? Absolutely, yes. How? We can always discuss that with professionals. And this is one of the things my organization does. All right. So we have delayed fine motor skills and hand skills. Like in therapy sessions, we used to teach parents how they can go back home and do home activity programs in relation to different hand therapies. And I just showed this video is what we adapted what's it called? A thermoplastic, but we can use any other thing. And it's also part of cognitive session, because a child with Down syndrome can be taught how to make this. It's very easy. It's just Velcro, gum, plastics, and that's it. But what are we trying to do here? Clinically, we call this pronation and supination. For us, that's the clinical word. But in real life, how do children use this? In a lot of ways. They want to use maybe smartphones. They want to turn their zip, buttons, hooks, kitchen, restroom, sleeping. They use this movement a lot. But how do we make it look like play? That is the question. And that is why I'm showing this video. So, and these are things that we don't need to spend a lot on to make them happen. And there are different ways we can make it. So it also means that we need to start teaching communities how to understand some basic clinical social techniques, which is this video is a clinical and social technique. We teach it generally for anybody, just so that when you go home, you can engage your child and the child can do, and it can be customizable. So these are some of the things that we are learning. So as a community, what should we do? Families should start practicing how buttoning, zipping can be done with graded assistance. Now, these graded assistants are something we clinically teach, but it has been exposed to the social setting and the family as a whole. And these are some of the things we should start to learn. We should encourage teachers to teach hand exercises. Now, one of the questions we had in a setting conference is, how much pressure do we want to put on the teachers? They still have to teach. They still have to deal with the behavioral sessions during their teaching, the cognitive aspect. How then do they get all the time to infuse these hand exercises, even though it isn't their major role? These are some of the callings we have to the government, to organizations, to have inclusive teachers or special needs teachers and teach them. For example, we are used to maybe grasping of things. But how do we use them? We have different ways in grasping things that are academic oriented, even though they are clinically stipulated. And these are some of the things that we hope the society, the community can learn. And gradually we can see how best to make it. And this is oral motor or physical traits. We know that these children have short hands. Sometimes their creases are not completely developed. And some of this physical, we can see, for example, the trunk protrudes outside, which results in drooling and the likes. One of the things we teach is we simulate the process that is involved in movement of the mouth and the physical ability to control these motions. So before we tell them, you know what, start to eat, we adapt. We can just put things on their shirts and tell them to simulate how feeding is, because we know that their hands might be shorter to even get to their mouth with ease. So for these reasons, that's why you can see this video. I'm going to play it again, just to give us an idea of how we simulate some of these oral motor functions in relation to the physical traits that we might observe in children with Down syndrome. Not all of them will obviously have this, but the ones we observe, we do. All right. So these are some of the things we do or teach the community to learn. And over time, hopefully, we can get better. Now, the last part is health. The heart, the vision, hearing, and sleep. We know they get tired easily. They have low endurance. They have poor attention because of poor sleep. How do we help them, or how can we help them in this situation? So what can the community do? We pace the task. We give them rest break. So what this video is showing is, while a child is resting, how can they also get engaged while they are resting? How can they still learn? How can they still use their development while they are resting? Even though the therapy is going on, it looks like resting. So if you watch this video or observe the movement in the video, you would see different aspects of the body region is used while it looks as if this person is resting. This is how we give breaks, rest breaks, while the child is still actively engaged and it looks like play. This is the end of my presentation, but I have one inspiration from children living with Down syndrome, and I'm going to share that. Now, I will use Mo Ballerina as an example. She dances, but let us look at our real life, what we've seen from those children. They love everything related to music. They like either to dance or to drum or to sing. So one day, I was meditating, let me put it like that. And I was thinking, I was still working with Down syndrome. My unit then was in Down syndrome, was in pediatrics. And we had few of these children who had Down syndrome. And while I was just meditating on my own after the session, something just came to my mind because two of these children were just dancing, even though there was no drum. And the older one was actually making some feet steps, you know, and he was following that. So it came to me that, wait, if we look at the general characteristics or the attributes or their hobbies, and that is actually the name of this condition. So I said, they like to dance, they like to sing, they like to drum. And the name of this condition is Down syndrome. Or does it actually mean dance, sing, drum? If we look at it from this point, is it Down syndrome or dance, sing, drum? This is the end of my presentation. I hope you gained something, and thank you for the opportunity once again. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Oh my God, a round of applause. You know what to do, guys. In fact, your inspiration, the last part got me like, and I was even like dancing and shaking my head already, like to what you were saying. Oh my God, that was power packed. That was powerful. Thank you so, so much. I believe what you said. Trust me. I recently was trying to connect more to a friend. He has Down syndrome. He's 17 years old. Mo is 14 years old. So I said, okay. Um, she's forming friendships, but she's disconnecting again, forming and wanting to be by herself, forming friendships. She can't build friendships, and it's been hard. So when Moyi was saying my name is Mo, the other one said my name, said his name. One of them said I love cooking, the other said I love eating. One said I love music, the other one said I love dancing. I said, okay. Somebody will do the cooking and the other will do the eating. Somebody loves music, the other will do the dancing. I'm like, this is really, really fantastic. And we can never get enough of this. And like you rightly said, I mean, power packed, everything, every information you gave was really kind of eye-opening and very informative. And I just feel that we need to do what we need to do because there is a lot that needs to be done. So for me, I say just begin to do. And that's was how I dabbled into early intervention. And of course, my story, if you know, for those of you that know me, I started early intervention with Mo when she was about 2 months old. Even though I knew she had a hole in the heart, while waiting to go to India, I just started all I needed to do because there's a lot that needs to be done, and there are so many untapped potentials, which I just hope that parents, can begin to see or just be proactive about. Because the way I deal with Mo, I look at in 6 months, what can she be doing? What do I think? And that was how we came about the WhatsApp messages. And today she's just like very easy. WhatsApp messages. Um, Sometimes I say you are grounded, and and again, how was this able to help me? There's a way I can see what she's doing in a private place. Of course, I respect her privacy, but it just helps me to be able to see the behaviors I want to help her remove or reduce. So your field is very important. For every parent, you must be an occupational therapist, be a physiotherapist, a speech therapist. It's just the ways we relate to our children. I'm not going to say too much, but I want to say a big thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ola. And while we're talking, I spotted our physiotherapist of 14 years. This was Moi's physiotherapist when Moi was barely a year old. She wasn't a year old then. We worked together. Everybody, can you please help me celebrate Uzo Okoye. She's been in the house. I've just remembered to celebrate her. Thank you so much for everything you do. Everybody, now it's time for Q&A, if I'm not mistaken. But everybody celebrate Dr. Ola again. Celebrate Dr. Ola. It's not easy. It's not easy. See all those things, all those
Thank you, Dr. Ola.
innovative stuff he's doing, and you can reach out to check what his company is doing. It's really, really
My
great because if
pleasure.
we don't have
My
people doing
pleasure.
stuff like this, how will our children be able to live in an inclusive community? How will they be able to thrive? Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Ola. I really, really appreciate you, Ola. And I know we'll be talking about doing this for years, and finally, we look forward to doing more to you. We've done this today. We hope that we can share the recording afterwards. So there was a question that was asked earlier by Lois. Lois, thank you for joining as well. Can you unmute and ask the question and remind me where you're joining from, please?
Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. Thanks so much for organizing this. My name is Lois. I'm joining from Maryland, United States. I have heard so many stories about children being diagnosed late with Down syndrome. The reason I'm here is because I'm also growing advocacy about Down syndrome in Cameroon. I have a niece who is born, who lives with Down syndrome, and it's very sad to see that she doesn't get services. And I mean, I could go down the rabbit hole with that. But one of the things that has really saddened me is how medical staff who are supposed to help these children with Down syndrome and educate them sometimes don't want to touch them. And I think the speaker from Ghana, I forget his name, he did mention something about a doctor not wanting to treat a patient. And that's something that's happening in Cameroon as well. And so just as we have discussed, collaborating with schools and with teachers, how do we start to make doctors comfortable in treating children with Down syndrome instead of treating them like they are less than?
Oh my God. I can't.
Do we have
I'm
all
so
day?
emotional.
Where do we start?
Toya, you want to go?
Look, I always say everything you've said is 100% spot on. And when you face that overarching challenge, it feels absolutely overwhelming. You don't even know where to start with that challenge, right? So just like we break down tasks for our children in bite-sized chunks, we also, if not every parent decides to advocate, right? If we decide, okay, we're going to be an advocate in this, whether it's or on a wider scale, or whether we've decided, yes, we're going to advocate for our child, we also have to break down that advocacy in bite-sized chunks. So what is it in the immediate that I can do? It can literally be as simple as deciding to take your child out with you. You're going to the supermarket, you decide, okay, I'm going to take my child with me. We're just going to go about our business. That's advocacy. I can tell you that just by people seeing you and your child, they're going to notice. You have to decide, okay, if someone is staring, I'm not going to be angry. You have to give them that grace and understand that you might have positive reactions, you might have curious reactions, and you might have negative reactions. But just you existing in a public forum and deciding to do that is advocacy. You also have to understand that when we're talking about the medical side of things, Down syndrome is a tiny paragraph in a unit of a module of what they're studying, right? It's tiny. So they don't know anything. In fact, they know just as much as the general population, except that because they're a doctor, they understand about maybe internal, external medicine, okay? But they don't know anything. So we as ourselves, as parents, have to educate ourselves on the comorbidities that happen that occur with Down syndrome, so that when we go into the medical environment, and we will undoubtedly meet the ignorance and lack of education, we have already educated ourselves, knowing that we are going to educate the medical doctors and nurses who are working with our child. The key thing to look for is attitude. You can teach everything else, but what is their attitude towards me and towards my child? If it's one of superiority and just brushing you off, is it one of like they don't even want to deal with that? However, if you have a positive attitude of a medical individual, there's space for engagement, there's space for understanding, and there's space for learning. And those are the kind of individuals and clinics that you want to identify, right? Yeah, I don't waste my time on convincing someone that has decided my child doesn't have a right to exist. Where can I go from it? I will move. I won't come there again. I'll go for someone else. So it's challenging. Yes, we have to do the work, but it's identifying those kind of allies in each area of need that we have. And that takes an investment of time and research, even in your friends, even in your family. Who in my family am I identifying as an ally that I can teach, that wants to learn with me? Because I cannot, for example, be the only one that learns sign language. Other people in her life have to learn sign language, and they have to be willing, right? So it's that work we have to do to kind of identify. But once we've identified those individuals, those clinics, those centers, those schools, when I tell you that that group engagement, joining together, your child will not only progress, your child will excel beyond your wildest imaginations, and they will have people who are gunning for them, who are cheering them on, who want to know how to help. And so, yes, it's initial work, but once you do it, it's building a structure that supports you and your child and their needs.
Right. I was, first of all, my heart sank. Then again, because we're talking about hope here. You saw my daughter read. See, the worst case scenario is what the doctors would give, because it happened. It happened to me. I've had parents share their stories, and what you've said regarding we've said a lot about community. Come on, we cannot stop talking about that. Regarding family orientation, family literacy, a doctor would say in their own way, something like, okay, don't expect too much. They are not directly telling you, but they are directly telling you at the same time that your child may not be able to work on time, the child may not be able to do this, the child may not be able to. We don't know how far our kids can go. So, not wanting to touch a child with Down syndrome is not even the problem. It is how are we carrying, how are we, how are we advocating, how are we stories? Because these are like real life stories. How are we sharing the stories? I also want to consider that they don't know what they are doing as such. Because why am I saying so? You cannot expect to know a GP, a general practitioner, to tell you everything and give you hope. That hope, you can't get it from a GP. Because a physiotherapist will be involved in your child's life. There's what I want us to Google what they call PATH, Planning Alternative Tomorrows with Hope. And then if you look at it, PATH, you would see that so many people need to be in your child's life for growth and development to continue. Whether your child needs to hold a job, your child must have a job coach, your child must be trained, your child must understand those regimented jobs, the complicated ones, but there must be a training. But before the child gets to the age of wanting to hold a job, what happens early in that child's life? Your doctor has no business with it. So I don't want us to look at the doctors as the main problems. I only want us to look at how we can handle or quickly attend to medical conditions. because those will stand in the way of our children's learning, their growth, their development. A child that has large adenoids. I remember speaking to the pediatric endocrinologist. Why do I say pediatric? And even as a pediatric endocrinologist, he had problems going into our children's ears to check what is actually happening. Is it a middle ear infection? Is it like is it a mixed type of earring condition? You know, because there are about three. Some are related because they have tiny structural nerves in their inner ear. Some are just because of the kind of the way the wind passes, the airwaves passes messages to the ears and the brain translates. So there's just a whole lot. A doctor cannot even relate, I can tell you, because that's why you would have to see endocrinologist. If you're trying to check like your child's thyroid function, you have to see cardiologist, you have to see speech and language. So how can you be bothered that a doctor does not? A doctor just does the delivery and so work with pediatricians is what I would advise you. If you start to work with pediatricians, they would show more empathy. I feel they would show more empathy. So working with pediatricians, and if your child is not even sick, does not have a heart condition, does not have thyroid, you don't even know how blessed you are. You don't know how blessed you are. I would advise again, let the child, whoever you're supporting, let them go for all the tests. Let them see the optometrist, ophthalmologist. Let them see. It's very important. The ENT doctors. Let them see them. That is the way we can move forward. Let them do these checks. It feels overwhelming, but it's one of the ways, it's one of the stepwise decisions you can make to get your child to move from A to B. I hope we've answered some of these questions. Someone is raising their hands.
Thank you
Okay,
so
Tubo.
much.
All right, thank you, Lois. Tubosun, can you ask your question, please? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, this is a question. Good morning, everyone. This is not a question, but what my standpoint from where I am, I think that one of the things that that can help the community understand Down syndrome is making a film for it. Because if you notice, people don't know. And if they don't know, they don't know how to react. Recently, there was a social film that was advocating for social cause, which is this Ebbs traveling and then being kidnapped and all that. And it really made a lot of waves because people are not like, oh, this is happening. Oh, yeah, it's true. And everybody's scared of traveling. Then you see the LGBTQ people. In all the movies, you would always see a man and a man falling in love or a girl and a girl falling in love. That is the way that they are using to put it in our mind that they exist. So I feel that for Down syndrome or for any other disabilities, that one will partner with filmmakers, it will get there. And because I know the problem of filmmakers, sometimes they don't have funding to even tell their stories, how much more saying they want to partner with something that will not make profit for them. I think another thing we can do that is through funding. When we, the special need people, we go for funding, we ask for funds, and when we get the funds, we partner with the known faces, make film, let them see how Down syndrome children really looks like. Let them see their challenges. That way they'll be like, oh, so it's like this. And then even their human or their Christian art or God art will be like, okay, this is how I think I can react to someone like this when I see them on the street.
So
when I
can
see
I
them.
take that? Olatunbosun. I think that's a great point. Clearly, you don't know what we do at Simone's Oasis. We actually do what you're saying. So we use storytelling in different forms to advocate for children with Down syndrome, autism, and other disabilities. Currently, we have a project, Black Child Down Syndrome, which is a collaboration with a award-winning photographer and Oscar-nominated film director who happens to be Nigerian. And it's a Black Child Down Syndrome project, which is featuring 9 children, Black children with Down syndrome. My daughter is one of them. So it's an ongoing project, and we're trying to bring it to Nigeria. But aside from that, right, how I started in the advocacy, Simone is even coming, was writing books for this very reason, right? So this was the original first book. I can't say I've got my background on what is Down syndrome. And we kind of began from there. I'm just going to take off my background so you can see, right? We started from there. Simone, do you want to come and say hello? And it started from there, where almost 6,000 books sold, right? And our approach with that is that kids don't start off reading by themselves, right? The parent is there with them. So through the reading with the children of this character, the child inadvertently is teaching the parents, and they both go out there advocating because they share the book or they order books or they say, oh, we want to gift it to our school, things like that. It starts to do that. Animated content, things like that. 2026, we're going to be doing, like I said, our Neurodiverse Creators Lab. So we have young people with Down syndrome. We're training them to make their own movies, their own short content, so they can be their own voice. We're working with Kunle Afolayan to do that. Okay, so next year, I am in talks of making a BAFTA director approached us about doing a documentary. So we're working on it. I think you are so on it. There's a way that visual stories or the audio visual stories, entertainment, can do a lot of advocacy for us in the same way that Olansu Bosu, you were saying about the LGBTQ, how they've done that. That is actually a specific example I use to show how propaganda and stories can be used to advocate within this community to the world, not just Nigeria, but our Nigerian, our African experience, which is different than those in Europe and those in America or wherever. Our African experience. So I think you're on it. We're working on it. There's always an issue of funding. We received our first grant this year, which is why we're able to do this Neurodiverse Creators Lab. So it's really, really important. Short form content, storybooks, podcasting, however which way that we can get our stories out there and have people better understand the diagnosis, but better understand the people. And they're people. They deserve to live.
Their hand.
Yes, they deserve to live a full, happy, integrated life with choices and access. So I think just what you said was 100% on it.
Yes, I was gonna say it was 100%, and it's food for thought, and it's something that needs to be done. And thank you, Tony, you're in the film production industry. No limits for our kids, and we're gonna achieve this, I believe strongly. We just need the support, we need the funding, we need everything we need to do this, and we're gonna achieve it. Well done, Tony. Someone was raising their hand. Funke, unmute yourself and speak. And there was David as well. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I really liked the suggestion that Mrs. Tubo raised up about using the movie industry to push this into, to let people know, to create awareness. Because personally, for me, I've watched so many movies on autism, Little Angels on Earth, and the more I watch them, I learn a lot. I introduce it to all that, and I feel that it will go a long way. And I lowered my hand because when the next speaker said that they're already on it, working with the top movie producers in Nigeria, I was really encouraged.
Right. Thank you so much. There's so many movies on Down syndrome, and there used to be this series as well, Born This Way. It's an American series. I also wanted to chip in something. Sorry, Uche, I'll get you on now. I wanted to chip in something Dr. Brian Skotko is doing in Boston, United States of America, running the Down syndrome clinic. And this is in regard to Lois's question. And he's running a Down syndrome clinic, and that is what is making research continue to develop solutions to even problems that not every person with Down syndrome would experience. And with Dr. Scott Cole, there are about 52 Down syndrome clinics in America. We don't even have half a Down syndrome clinic in Nigeria. And why, if you ask me, why is there a Down syndrome clinic? It's because there's so many parts of Down syndrome that just, that there is even what I call having Down syndrome and complex disabilities. It's too complicated not to have a Down syndrome clinic. So if you know any doctor that is your friend, maybe they don't know that they can do this, for them to have like a Down syndrome clinic where they can look into those critical aspects of managing and treating, because what happens in the UK is just continue to treat everything treatable, keep treating. And that's why I've had too many hospital appointments. I said it in the last webinar, we had too many hospitals appointments. Unfortunately, some new diagnosis, but what do? You continue to treat, and that is the way you can allow the child to live long to reach their potentials. I just said to mention that we don't have a Down syndrome clinic in Nigeria. So I'm going to bring you on now, Uche, for your question. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Just a quick one. I wanted to ask a question. I think I heard when Mr. David made mention of saying that someone that has a child living with Down syndrome, while a parent living with, which the child is living with autism, sometimes they usually, should I say, discriminate or say they don't want their child to be in the same place with a child that has other disabilities.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if we can actually throw more light, because a lot of time we talk about inclusion, we talk about awareness. Sometimes I feel the awareness also even really has to start with even the parents with these children, and they need to also be inclusive too. A lot of some of the discriminations we also get directly are from people that are also living with this
Right.
condition.
Right. Can
Then
I
I
get
want to also
Tiana?
say
Can I get Tiana on this? If you're still there.
hello? Yeah.
Tiana.
Yes, I'm here. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Okay, Tiana. So someone had mentioned about um she has a child with Down syndrome, and she has a child with autism, and it was like an inclusive setting for children with disabilities. So there were children with Down syndrome and autism together, something like that, in a place. And then the woman with the child with autism was saying something derogatory, like, "Are these ones among?" That's the ones with Down syndrome, something like that. She's feeling maybe her own child's disability is kind of, should I say, better than, maybe Down syndrome is not curable. We're not even trying to cure it. So I think that's what we're trying to say, that how do you address that kind of situation? For example, I've heard parents say, my child has Down syndrome, but it's not that much. And then they say, oh, it's not as much as that. Oh, my own child's own is mild. Oh, this, papa. It is still a spectrum. How do we, am I saying, is that your question, Uche?
Yes, it is.
How do we stop parents from thinking their own child's disability is milder than another child's disability? How do we educate them?
So, people only know what they know, right? And I think that it comes down to their mindsets when it comes to their child versus someone else's child. Um, and I have found that it is also used to make a parent feel better about what's going on with their child, versus actually understanding what it is that their child is diagnosed with, and even understanding the other diagnosis around them. And so if parents are even exposed to the information about their child fully, then they will have the proper information. But I know that I have encountered parents who have said similar things, like my child only has this and this is mild, but it is what it is. The diagnosis is what it is. And surrounding your child with similar people. It does not have to be where they're just around children with Down syndrome, because in their classrooms, they won't be with children who just have Down syndrome. They will be with children who have autism, those who might not even have a diagnosis. And so you have to educate them, on how to expand their mindsets about what else is out there. And it's it you know it's it's kind of difficult, because everybody's not open to everything. But you can say, and I even went to a webinar, so I'm even gonna say this. I went to this a lady in the community. She has a child with autism, and she's also a nurse. And so the whole presentation was specifically about autism, and their training doesn't even have Down syndrome listed as a disability. When she listed the list of disabilities, Down syndrome was not even on the list. And so they don't know how to address that, because it doesn't come with the same things as autism from a medical perspective, from what I gather from her. So because it's more of a seen as a genetic condition versus a neurological condition, the medical industry is trained more so to understand that aspect versus the genetic part, but it does not make it any different. Both children have a diagnosis, right? And a lot of parents don't even know that children with Down syndrome usually have a dual diagnosis that is undiagnosed, and that other diagnosis is usually autism. And it just takes for you to try to understand your child better, really, and understanding what other things are going on. Don't put mild on it. Don't put, all of the other things. Just understand them and who they are and what they can do and what they can contribute, but also be open to the other things around them, the other people around them, because you want to open them up to the diversity in the diagnosis, the different diagnoses as well. So
Wow.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
I want to add something to that very, very amazing answer, because that's literally the experience I had with Simone. At the age of 2.5, she started showing these things that I'd never seen before. She would run into the street. She would just run and disappear. She would be covering her ears and really sensitive to certain sounds and things like that. And I'm like, what is this? Nobody has told me about this. So when I began to read, I started to see those were symptoms of autism, the walking on the tiptoes and everything. So I said, okay, let me take her to the doctor. And we were in the UK at the time because we were still recovering from the heart surgery. And they were like, no, she doesn't have autism. And they just left it like that. They did, but I can see these things happening. But they're saying, and from when I'm reading, it says autism. But I go to the doctor, but because she's socially can I contacted, they just dismissed it. So I decided, okay, I don't need a diagnosis. I know she has this issue. I need to help her. So I just went on this journey on my own and started, entering the autism community, right? And learning from that community how to help my child with Down syndrome.
Yes.
Because I wasn't getting that. So sometimes you have to look beyond that diagnosis you have, or even if you don't have diagnosis, right? Look at those symptoms and look at, okay, where can I get help from my child? Because at the end of the day, I still need to help them. So whether or not I have this diagnosis, I can see this problem. How do I address this problem to make the quality of life better for my child? And sometimes then in your learning, you have to go back and educate the medical practitioners on what you've learned in their understanding. And because of that journey, even this is so funny, I had a book delivery from my publisher today. That's why I wrote this book, right? She's a character. Simsim is my daughter, but she's also a character with Down syndrome. When she heard the birthday song, that was one of the symptoms. She would literally just absolutely freak out, start crying, screaming, run out the room, covering her eyes, covering her ears. And it came out of nowhere, what appeared to be nowhere. But understanding that thing about birthdays, the birthday songs, once she saw you lighting the cake or whatever, she would freak out. And how do I help my child? But realizing that was a trigger, it was a sensory trigger. And so actually, this is our newest book. I actually wrote about it. Down syndrome character who has traits of autism, and how this character navigates her birthday party. Because I thought I cannot be the only one who is going through this experience and hitting a wall. So it's common that we will see things that we haven't been told about, but we have to go and find out. Even if they're telling you it's not this, it's not this, not this, you can still see the issue.
Yeah.
But we have to find ways to navigate those issues to help our kids.
Yeah, many people in the medical community don't even know because they're going based off their research, and their research is most times outdated. And so it takes for parents and advocates, siblings, whoever is coming across this in their own lives to actually educate those in the medical community, because these things need to be researched so that they can provide the help and assistance to other families and give them the full information when it's researched better, right? So they can, because right now even the money is behind autism solely, but we know that Down syndrome has been there longer than autism. And I have a theory, because I also worked in government, that certain things that government backs is a part of a problem that they cause. So, and it's only because of my experience. And that's a story for another time. But and so they put all of this money behind it, and they take away from Down syndrome as a whole. The money is not flowing into the research for Down syndrome as it should. But I think that we have to educate them. We have to stand up and say, okay, let us join those conversations. How can we go into the summits and the different things that they have to ask the questions, to be there in the forefront, to partner even with them, to say, hey, you all need to look into this. You all should research this. We are not alone in this, and we need more people in the medical community to help our community to understand what's going on with their child so that they can help them in their development.
Yeah, so much. I quite agree with you, Tiana. Everyone can try to look up Down syndrome achieves. I'm one of the committee members, and it has been believed that there's still to look into to research on Down syndrome, the health matters, because this is just one of the reasons why people with Down syndrome are being limited and globally. But we can see people with Down syndrome, achieving success in what they want to do, holding jobs, getting married, but still the only thing I think can stop them from actually achieving their dreams is when they have like short lifespan due to like an undiagnosed condition that will just come and take their lives. Even though we know, according to research, that their lifespan has kind of increased. It used to be 50 back in the days. I think that we have the oldest person celebrating their birthday with Down syndrome as a 70-something-year-old in the UK or thereabouts. I can't remember the exact figure. But then we're looking at reasons why our children should be alive, and then the research must keep going on for us to keep them alive. So just recently, my daughter was diagnosed in October after the autism diagnosis, which we took about a year and a half. We were filling different forms, doing face-to-face sessions, doing all sort of stuff. Eventually, the diagnosis came. I saw the signs a while back, but then when the diagnosis came, I started to see more signs. But then again, it's just at the back of my mind. It's not stopping me from doing or stopping her from doing anything she wants to do. Like I shared before, now that we're trying to use okay, so apart from doing the WhatsApp messages that we're trying to do now, we're trying to use the desktop. Because as a teenager, I really don't know what next to do. I've, I'm doing speech therapy. We're still doing occupational therapy. We're still trying to do organizational skills. Some of it's not working for us, some is working. We want them to be able to hold jobs, so we have to do a lot of stuff from home. It's not supposed to be overwhelming, but it's what we need to do, and we need to take our time to do. So no pressures from any angle. And looking at all of this I've said so far, I put down the desktop there. She's never held a mouse, but she's navigating the use of a phone. So I think we should just continue to give this opportunities, because our children will find themselves where they would somewhere like in an inclusive society or group or whatever, and then they just fit in. But if we don't expose them, so they may not be in that same classroom with that child, because that child is going ahead to university and our children are stranded. They may not be there, but what we do with them, for them, with them goes a long way, you know. Oh, my volume is low. So I said what we do with them for them goes a long way to prepare them for what they would see in the future. Okay, I think I'm echoing. Can you put up Mo's phone, please? Quickly, thank you.
You're sounding fine.
Okay, someone said I was low. So it is supposed to be a win-win situation, but if we are not ready, then we cannot win this. We can't win it. We have to be in it to win it. But if we're not ready, unfortunately, it's not magic. Unfortunately, it won't happen. But then again, we have to check for the signs, the readiness. If the readiness is there for your child, please go ahead. Don't limit your child. Research will go on and on regarding medical issues, like my daughter's recent diagnosis came as a rude shock. But then let me share it, because it's not something I intend to keep as a secret. But it started from having a second heart condition. But I had been told after the first heart surgery, don't bother about it. She's fine. It's repaired forever, blah, blah, blah. Then out of the blues, 8 years after, something just do another echo. Remember, in Nigeria, your echo is probably every year. But the doctors told me in India, don't worry about it. It's been sorted, blah, blah, blah. What did I do? I went to relax. I started looking out for other children. Oh, let's do echo for them. Oh, this one has ASD. This one has PDA. Okay, PDA needs surgery. Okay, surgery for the PDA is late. And this one has pulmonary hypertension. So I was picking the students like that. We were doing arts funding project. This was tough and rough because still no funding. For everything we need to do, we need funding. Even for just a regular business, you need capital. So I went ahead and I think about 8 years after I took her to the cardiologist and then the stories began. I started with Dr. Majeko Dumi. He's popular, though he's not a pediatric cardiologist. The stories began. Where did you do the surgery? Blah, blah, blah. What has happened? So what happened was another type of heart condition. And you see, that is why research is very important. We can prevent some of those things. We can check if we do this kind of surgery, what will this child, what would this type of surgery predispose the child to? Because we don't intend to be doing surgeries back to back to back. But if we have to do, like I said before, treat what is treatable, just so that the child can continue to grow. Because there's some children who have stunted growth. Some of them will have genetic variances in the sense that you might see a child with Down syndrome that is tall, and that only means maybe one of the parents is tall. Some will be very short, so you don't know how your child is going to turn out to be. And I said, okay, we're going to go for the second heart surgery, no matter what. I didn't even know that delaying in going for that second heart surgery was already affecting the kidney. So now we've done heart surgery, and now we are battling stage 2 CKD. That's what it's called, chronic kidney disease. That's what we're so. But what do I see? I still see my child with potentials. I don't see the medication she has to take daily for God knows how long. I still see that child that needs to build relationships, hold a job. Apart from reading, no, it's not supposed to be a perfect scenario. Nobody has a perfect life. But I still see this child that will just continue to grow. That's all I see. I don't see the sickness. I don't see the diagnosis. Because the Down syndrome, the diagnosis that has came and broke us, is what is giving us joy now, kind of, if you understand what I mean. So what we see really matters, and how we continue to engage our communities in this matters a lot. If we keep quiet, a lot of things will be buried. If we speak out, a lot of things will we would get solutions. We may not get all the solutions. So I'm going to stop here, and I don't know if if anyone still has anything to share. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for listening to everybody's story. Thank you for sharing your stories. To every speaker today, I want to say a big, big, massive thank you. Thank you for, making it out today, because these conversations are so, so important. I see them as very curious conversations, because some of them are like conversations we are even afraid to talk about, but we must talk about them. Because why? A baby is being born with Down syndrome right now as we speak. It's not something we say, we'll say, okay, it's just the end. It's a lifelong condition. And we have to encourage research organizations as well. I don't think we even have do we have this story in Nigeria? Do we have the figure statistic for children with Down syndrome in Nigeria? Do we have that? Man, doctor is still around. Dr. Adeleke, is he still around? Statistics for children with Down syndrome in Nigeria. I don't know. I did my research. I cannot say it's been updated. The last time this was updated was in the 80s. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Anyone with anything to add? Additions? Not subtractions, additions. So we can bring this to a close today. Is everybody happy? If you're happy, let me feel it in the room. I need to feel it in the room. How often do you want us to do these webinars? Because we are also looking at what is globally acceptable cultural practices, um, um, Black children, how, Down syndrome affects them, how community engagement, what's really happening? Is there progress, or are we just saying it and not doing it? Thank you very much, everyone.
Tola, please remember to mention your collaboration with Gigi's. It's really important what you guys are doing.
Okay. So it's part of why and I wanted to spread this across the 36. Thank you, Tony. I forgot. The 36 states in Nigeria. Because I've been so worried. And when COVID hit, we went virtual. And Funke will remember. Funke is here. Uche is here. We have a few people too that, would remember how we connected to parents in Kaduna, Kano, Port Harcourt. One of the parents is here, Port Harcourt. If you are here, please just say hello. I know I saw you, Patience. I saw you quite some minutes ago. We connected in the,
Hello. Hello, everyone.
yes, power of, hello, Patience, power of collaboration, um, even technology, innovation. With these things, like I remember Dr. Ola Solomon was saying, disability industry. We are not even owning it. There are 13 types of disabilities, right? What I'm trying to do is our children are not seen. Trust me, what they see is just that facial feature and they take their eyes away or look again. That's all they see. We are not seen. Look at actors with Down syndrome in America, different parts of the world, doing great things, going to school, going to colleges. We don't know how far I said, but what is even available for us in Nigeria to start with? So I said, let me see if I can do this virtual thing, let people tap into it. And then I started thinking of NEPA problems. Gigi's, before I got approved, I was talking to Nancy, the founder, for over a year because they felt if you don't have network, we have network issues, we have NEPA issues, we have data issues, because they were asking a lot of these questions. I did a lot of, let me do, okay, why do you want to do? Even I remember sharing this with my mentor, Dr. Owade, is still on here. He was saying, how are we going to do it? I said, well, we're going to do it. And we started just April this year. I'm still trying to at least connect with people in 12 states. Guess those students that attend the online reading sessions. We call it Kids Online now because we're doing quite a lot there now. We're doing math, we're doing reading, we're doing all sorts, we're doing different things that would just, help the child's intellectual development and movement with music, with dance, just learning is taking place. And I have majorly children from America attend these sessions, majorly. Even Asians, Hispanics, but I mean people from America. So I have to wait for their time now because of our time change, because they know the benefits of these things. The benefits of these things. And when we did this during COVID, we can even tell them over the phone. Funke, you remember, get mommy's red bag. And you see the children, and they are doing, and they know it sticks because we're using repetitions, reinforcements. I mean, so if you understand what we need to do in Nigeria and you're a parent, you would appreciate what people are doing that you can't do and people are doing for free, not for money, not for anything. So Gigi's is that platform. I think I run the program because I wanted to include Nigeria parents in Nigeria. Just imagine it. So I don't know if you have solutions for sponsorship for laptops, phones, data, giving data weekly because I take the program every Thursday, the reading program. Data phones, laptops, I don't know. That is our problem in Nigeria because there is no funding for these things. That's why it's easier in America, easier in other parts of the world. So I just want to tell you about it. If you can join us every Thursday, Patience, you've been joining us. Please, can you share some of your experiences? Okay. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Yes, it's something that every parent needs to join. Like my two kids joined, Enyaraloa and his younger brother, and there has been massive improvements in it. And I used to say, I don't know, it's God that will bless you because all these things you do for free. I know how much it costs in this country to do such things, but you are doing. I keep asking, how do you get the reward for all these things? Because you put in a lot of effort. It's not only you. I think Jennifer, the other white lady, is there that is also teaching. She's really doing a lot, and I want to encourage all the parents here. Bring in your kids. It's just an hour program. It's like one-to-one, even though it's not just a child. she will bring in your child. It will make it look like it's one-to-one teaching, because she will make sure she call your child's name and then ask your child questions that will make your child to participate. Not that a child will be lost and they will ride on with the ones that are active. No, every child will participate in it. So I would like to encourage us all to, if we know we really want something good for our children. I've not stopped, asking for more for my son. I've not stopped. She knows, she can bear me witness. Every time, even Tonya, good afternoon. I will pop in and ask question. If I get a medical report, I will ask Tonya, please, this is the thyroid function test. What do you think it means? I've not stopped. If you know you want your child's to fulfill potential, if you know you truly love your child, whatever you know that will benefit your child, whatever you know your child will benefit from, you will want to go for it. Please. She's not collecting any money from us, and she didn't pay me for this. I'm the one that even supposed to be paying her for all this. But
I have a paid version of it. It's called the Rainbow Readers Room.
Yeah, I just want to encourage us. Please, let's join.
Thank you.
Mrs. Makinde.
Sir?
Well, like the last speaker has said, that the Lord will continue to bless you.
Thank you,
the other
sir.
time I told you that most of the things you embark on is money driven. And it's what some people use to collect money. We have an uncountable number of associations, foundations, and these NGO on disability. But how many of them are not center of money? That is the problem. And like I told you, most of our parents here are indigent. Only few can come up with to online to participate in activities like this. But we will not regret in any form, because at least if you cannot go around the world, you can go the world around you. And this is what you are doing.
Yes.
We cannot cover every place, but the available one that the capacity can cover, you are doing and doing it objectively. So this one is a great thing. We met by accident, and I think it wasn't a regrettable thing.
Yeah.
Sincerely speaking, with my experience, I've gone to some states talking about intellectual and mental disabilities. I discovered that even within the disability space, they still discriminate against individuals with developmental disability. They discriminate against them.
True.
Like, we have an Association for Intellectual and Mental Disabilities, and when we were discussing it within the Jonapit, they be telling you that if you don't have disability, you cannot sit down in their midst and say you are representing them, which means a child with intellectual disability should come and sit down in their midst to represent him, fight for his right, claim his own this and that, which they know, even among themselves, they still cheat themselves there. Those ones that have sound cognitive ability, they still cheat themselves. You will see the deaf trying to outsmart the physically challenged. You will see the blind trying to patch those ones with a spinal cord or what have you.
Oh my God!
Like that.
Horrible.
We're having that challenge.
That's horrible.
Where we are, like I said, the individual with intellectual disability can only be objectively recognized and defended by their parents. They are the ones that know where the two pinches.
Absolutely.
Which means, like somebody said, parents are the first and the last advocate for their children with intellectual disability.
Absolutely.
And this thing must be championed. We must not allow it to slide at all. It must be a continuous one. And but we need to further sensitize the parents.
Yeah.
They should move away from requests for rice and beans. You are talking of Android phone, laptop, data, and the like. When you started this program and I tried to join, I just discovered I was having slow and fluctuating data. Something. I checked my data balance and I see it was 100 and something. I quickly buy the 6,500 data. So how many parents can quickly do that one? Well, I didn't want to cut short of this program.
These are the matters.
You understand? And I'm not a parent of a child with a disability. But these parents themselves, I have these children with disability, they will be looking for, if you find most of them for something like this, their thinking is that they are not going to give us money. They are not going to give us money for. They are not going to do this one. Is this the purpose of what we are coming for? Orientation must change.
We are missing
we
out.
must see the need for our children to become independent to an extent on their own. Parents cannot be there for life. Most of these parents are getting older, getting weaker, because they are primary caregivers. They also are even becoming somebody that need a caregiver. And they don't crave for independence of their children. So whichever way, if the Lord help us, we continue campaigning, creating awareness for parents to know this thing. And then but let us go ahead with those that can continue to join.
Right.
If somebody participates today and inform another one tomorrow, it becomes 2. And then let us encourage the caregivers that are equally passionate to continue joining, and then we continue like that. The Lord will continue to help us. And those of us that are closer to those big bad politicians, we can help us to tell them to do their empowerment in giving from an Android phone and laptop to our parents.
Yes.
That we can equally go a long way. Thank you very much.
We are trying. We are doing that. We are trying at the moment.
Okay. Thank you.
One more thing that, Prof, I think that you really hit on was about planning for when we're not around. And that's a conversation that I think we should, yes, Tola, that's a webinar that needs to happen.
Yeah, we'll
planning,
do that.
Your will, your trust, all those things.
We'll do that.
That is a 100% must. Sorry, Simone is making...
Okay, the PATH thing I talked about, path, is going to guide us. We'll do that. We'll check. We'll see the speakers. We ourselves, we can't know it all, we need people to be in the lives of our children that can do what for this child. Who is that person? And the person must begin to connect with the child now, not out of the blues. The person will come. So I think we're coming to an end now. So thank you so much for your contribution, sir. I am turning 50 next month. This December. And I have a project upcoming to support 50 children. It's going to be like a donation link I want to send. We need to keep educating our children. Our children can learn. Honestly, they can learn, but we are not tapping into this, potentials. I want to help more children. I want more Rainbow Simones. I want healthy partnerships. I want healthy collaborations. I want us to do this together. I want those children to feel the impact, families to feel the impact, whether they are near or far away. Even if it means that some families are showing interest, I don't mind buying a phone for those are the kind of I want serious families, interested families that are serious to get their children to the next level. So I'll be raising the funds, and I'm also.
When are you going to do your 50th and your golden celebration? Where and which
Rainbow, 18th of December. Can you share the flyer?
18th of December.
Yes,
more Rainbow. The Lord will help me.
I know you're far away in Calabar, sir, but
I told you I'm in Lagos now for at least till January.
Okay, so don't worry, sir. How it's going to work is we just get friends together. Of course, we're doing it at the center. It's not something big, but it's just like celebrating me. I want myself to be celebrated.
It is importantly celebrating you is the core.
You deserve to be celebrated. I'm sorry, you deserve to be celebrated.
Yes,
you deserve to be celebrated. 18th of December. 50 is not a small thing. And the grace of God has been there.
Yes, yes.
I want to say happy birthday in
Can
advance.
she remember me? Yeah. Simone?
Okay, Auntie Bola.
Hello.
Say hello.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
In
This is the
advance.
first. Thank you so much, Simone. Thank
Happy
you. So
birthday, Auntie. Happy birthday, Auntie.
gone are the days of imposter syndrome. So I'm going to be sharing your emails, if you
Happy
don't mind, with my
birthday to
team.
you.
We're going to be reaching out to
Happy
you, Simone.
birthday.
I want your happy birthday song
Happy
recorded and
birthday.
sent as soon
Happy
as you can.
birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, Toyin, can you make sure that I get the recorded
Sure,
version of
sure.
that? Yeah, so everyone, I want to say a big thank you again. We've come to an end. I think this is the last for the year. But I think, Toyin, in collaboration with you, we need to get this webinars out there, even Tiana as well. Mothers of children with Down syndrome, there are so many in Lagos, in Nigeria. Please, we need to keep doing this so that we keep ourselves in the loop. Thank you very much, everyone. We have to go now. I feel like singing bye-bye song like I'm in class.
Say
But
Thank you so
no.
much. Bye. Happy birthday.
Thank you,
She
dear.
don't have
Bye.
birthday
Happy
yet.
birthday
Doing
in
happy
advance.
birthday in
Thank you,
advance.
sir. Thank
What
you
you
so
say is
much,
bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you
Can
so
we get
much.
the recording too?
Thank you. Yes, the recording is gonna be on YouTube.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amina.
Bye.
Thank you, Lois. Thank you so much for joining. We can talk later. We can see if we can see our thank you so much. Bye so much, Dr. Ola. Thank you so much. The children in Cameroon you're trying to support, we just need a parent that can stand, in the gap, and we can get the parents, bring the person up to date. Some things that were written in the books, like what doctors read in the book, sometimes those things are not even working again for us. We want practical. Look at what Dr. Ola shared, practical experiences, I can find out how we can connect to his organization. So maybe when we're sending emails out with a link, we can share the speaker's contact as well, if you don't mind, Dr. Ola. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, you can. No problems, ma'am.
Okay. Can you send your organization's link or wherever you want us to share with people, please? Thank you so much. Okay, that's the invite for the party. Okay. Thank you. That's the link there. So we're saying bye-bye to everyone. I would just like to leave
Bye. Bye,
last.
Ma. Bye, Mui.
Thank
Where's
you,
Mui?
Mui. She left since.
Bye,
Imagine she
Ma.
woke
Bye,
up
Mui.
since
Bye,
8
Ma.
o'clock
Bye,
on a
everyone. Miss
Saturday.
Funke.
Funke, thank you for joining. Thank you so much.
Who's still on this call? Miss Vera.
Thank you so much, Lois.
Miss
It's excited
Miss
I found you as
Amina.
well.
Blessing.
Thank you so much. I'll reach out to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
We
Thank
need
you.
your community. There is a WhatsApp group solely for parents with Down syndrome. Some parents from the United States, different parts, UK, Nigeria. And Nigerian people are a lot there, so we can. And again, like I always say, we need to learn from one another. So
No,
it's what we're trying to do
I
on
did.
that group.
Yeah, I did share
Thank
your
you, Ma. Bye.
information with my
Bye.
sister-in-law, but
Okay.
this morning when I reached out to her, my nephew got sick. That's why she couldn't
Oh, I
join.
know. That's no problem. Which
Yeah,
the
but
nephew.
I'm definitely working with her to put something together, something like this.